Howdy everyone. It's Monday and I'm back from a weekend of playing 40k. How is it going? Hope everyone is doing well. Prove it? No, I will never prove it. You're right. I can't prove it, therefore I am dead. Rip. Alright, well, that was the end of the stream. I'm dead, apparently. You can blame Steve. You can probably hear from my voice, it is a little bit low, a little bit So if you hear on Thursday, I was like, oh, I'm starting to sniff. This is really annoying. Yeah, I came down with like a cold on Friday. I was like, for fuck's sake. Like, out of all the times I could have possibly gotten ill. But it improved by Saturday, and it's alright now. This is now just the fact that I've been talking very loud for 2 days. Not that I don't talk loud normally. It reminds me, I was like, that's my 2-day event. Exactly, alright? Like, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. We're going to talk all about it in about a minute, because we normally start at past. Ajax Genesis, thank you for following, as well as Drive Cruncher and Huddled McGuffin for following as well over on Twitch. Yeah, we're going to talk all about it. Going to talk about the games, talk in general. I will make a video on it, of course, like more in-depth stuff. I just wanted to chat, answer questions, all that kind of stuff. Talk about like briefly about what's coming up this week on the channel. And yeah, so get started in about a minute. So just before we get started, I'll do my standard I'm a YouTuber, look at me, I'm so big and special things of saying like the stream over on YouTube because it helps. So it's already 156 people here, and it's like I've not even started, so that's crazy. Thank you for joining. Like the stream, Superchats are there for making text-to-speech yell at me, as well as bits, and then become a member, Patreon, or Twitch sub, or blah, 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 blah. I'll gift those things to help me continue to do stuff like this. Taking 18 Centurions and 2 Repulsors to a tournament that I painted and built in a week. Oh, dear. Paul did make sure to hydrate. I did. However, because I was so busy making sure I was hydrated, I forgot to sit down for the first day. Literally, the entire first day, I was stood up and like walked into town. Run OKU, thank you for following over on Twitch. I walked into, it wasn't far, I walked for lunch on the first day. But every game, stood up the whole time, didn't sit down. They provided chairs for everyone, I just did not sit down. I got home, I was like, oh, that was a mistake. So on the second day, I was like, I'm going to sit down. How's the back? It's not too bad today. I managed to get a fair amount of sitting down after my second game yesterday, and I think sleep has helped. Legs are doing alright. The main thing now is my voice is a little bit low. Yeah, I need to remind myself, like, I drank quite a lot, and I was fairly well hydrated. Even after the first day, I was still, like, it got to about 9:30, and even though I got to go home and go in my own bed and actually leave a bit early, I was like, oh no. And I crashed a bit. But I woke up fine for the next day. And I think, yeah, I spoke to one of the TOs. I think it was a lot of like that adrenaline. And it was a really good event. Like, really good time. And I think if people are worried about it, about going to a tournament like that, I wouldn't be worried. If you do practice against Worldies, I'm happy to help. Well, thank you. I think, so the first game, I think, taught me well enough for the second game. The second game, I'm annoyed. I should have won that game. I made some real critical mistakes in that second game. It was just a combination of trying to play too fast, being the 5th game on a 2-day event, being quite tired, and I just missed a couple of things. Saw you sitting looking fairly knackered at the end, staring into the distance. Yeah, you might have walked past. At one point I basically just like, I'm just gonna sit down. Like, I finished the last game I played. I had finished with an hour left, and I was like, I want to see the ceremony. I could go and like speak to some people I'd met and see how their game's going. I went over to, I think, Ben from Grudgehammer and just spoke to him for a little bit. But I went, I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to play some Balatro and just like relax. Yeah. Any tips how to reduce neck pain when painting? I actually don't know. And thank you for following, Harv. I don't know. Go say hi. Yeah, if you see me at those events, yeah, absolutely come and say hi. Yeah, no. I guess thanks for letting me just sit, but again, like, I'm happy to always say hello, so. Yeah, I was bringing a full bottle. Yeah, I had like a 2-liter thing of squash, for like diluted fruit juice water essentially. Yes, it was nice. Hey, right, how's it going? Oh, damn. Overextended, failed to charge, die, turn 2-top game. Actually, no. I don't think I made any overextending mistakes. And I think, in fact, underextending was a big problem. Vidar Law, thank you for following over on Twitch. But I can't imagine speaking loudly for tired. It is difficult. There were definitely times where I had to, repeat a couple of times, and it was run. Yeah. It was still goo. It was still goo? Still good. Yeah, my brain still bad. The second draw's any good? Hit and miss. How does one even know if they see you at the tournament? Your real life appearance isn't really public knowledge, is it? Well, the first day I was wearing a very bright yellow, goofy button-up shirt. And also, I think some people recognize my voice. Some people did actually come up to me. A couple of people, I think, on the first day, like, one guy walked past and was like, I'm not your opponent, I just want to say I'm a big fan of your channel. So I think some people kind of had worked out where I was. And also, I think the 18 Centurions probably clued people in. But it was very funny because I was speaking to a couple of people. I was like, yeah, I was like, find the bald bearded guy. I was like, in my line of sight, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the guy was like, yeah, 2 of them came, I've got 2 of them with me. Oh, dear. You don't mean you use your VTuber stream? I know, right? I could have tried. I actually think it's had a bit different in person. I probably do, to be fair. It's probably like a combination of... I probably have a bit of a YouTuber voice. Like, in my videos, I'm like, I went to... It's probably not that stupid, but I went to the tournament with Screaming Ravens, which was a little bit different. And I think it's loud in there, so I'm talking a bit louder and kind of, and... I also think, yeah, like... Conversation voice is a lot different to regular voice, right? Where they go Starscream, character archetype, the Chris McWeedle, like his base for life. I do like those kind of villains are always funny. A lot of like cowardly heels and wrestling like that. It just sounds slightly happier online. That's probably the most truth. I think a lot of people when they put on the YouTuber voice, it definitely is like more upbeat because it's got to have more energy. And then in real life, I'm just like, yeah, what's up? How's it going? Probably not that deep. That's just my voice being thing. Are you going to how the matches went, or are you going to do that in future? I'll go into the matches as well in the stream, but I'm going to go more in depth in a video. I probably won't do like each match individually for a video. I think it'll be more a case of like probably going through like match by match, but not like in depth. More, there's a lot of like overall things I learned about the list. There will be some times where I will go into like specifics. Yeah. So I did go. Yeah, I think you finished 13th, right? But man, if you'd got top 8, yeah, 2 more matches. So for those who don't know, you're gonna make a video about tournament? Absolutely, I'm gonna make 2 actually. Cthulhu is dreaming. Thank you for following. So the video this week, the videos. Thank you very much. Yeah, the video this week is going to be about. Specifically about, I want to talk about, so the video this week was going to be the results for the paint jam, but I need more time to judge them, and I want to talk about Dakka Rorks. Because holy shit, Dakka Rorks. Oh my god. Hot Take Stream is going to be in the future. I've got that one planned. I think it's going to go Dakka Rorks, paint jam results, tournament recap, and then I think Hot Take Stream. So yeah, it's a little bit away. Here, discovered your YouTube channel like yesterday. Like the content? Hell yeah. Hello. The stream works so much better than YouTube. Oh, fair enough, yeah. YouTube's weird. To be fair, right, here's the thing. Like, we spent the day before, like, talking about Dakka, or on the Thursday, talking about Dakka Rorks and preparing for it. It didn't matter. It honestly did not matter. It just was not worth worrying about because they are broken. But I will say, so... there's a thing that I didn't realize on the stats. It's called wins strength of schedule, wins SOS. So what wins strength of schedule means, it's basically how many wins did your opponents have during the event. So like, on average, you basically take the number of wins all your opponents had, divide it by the number of opponents you had, so by 5, and that's how many wins on average your opponents had. Because I played against Ben Jones in round 1, and he went on to win 7 times, it means that my like strength of schedule is like on average, I was playing someone who won 3 games at least. Because Ben just, like, yeeted the strength of the schedule because he won all 7. I will say, I do get to say, though, I was on the top table. And so the top tables, the way it was set up, is loads and loads of tables, but the top ones, like the top 8 tables there at the very back of the room, are bigger. They have more space for, like, you to put your stuff down, more space between the tables, and they're just kind of nicer layouts because they use those for the end people for the people at the end, right? So they want a bit of a bigger table for those people. So I got to use one of those tables. It was great. I felt like a king. You know, they had table service, a guy with a little you know, in poker or roulette where they have someone shoveling the chips. They had that, so I didn't have to be my models. It was perfect. Those are the stuff. The reason those tables are different is because the venue owns them, so they have to put them away after 6 p.m. Ah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But also, it's because they rolled the red carpet out for me, clearly. Oh, dear. Tournaments are like pay to win chess, except if you're playing for fun, you will get points. So this is what I want my video this week to talk about. But the video this week is going to talk about essentially, is it better to just take the meta, or are you going to win by being good? Ben beat me, not just because he brought Dakka Rorks. He could, if we swapped lists, if I at the start of the game went, no, plot twist, haha, I'm playing Dakka Rorks, you're playing my 18 Centurions, he would still win. Like 100%. Because I don't know how to play Dakka Rorks, and he does know how to play my army. Or at least he knows what Centurions do. He knows my army better than I do. Like, he was telling me, like, oh, I think it's this. Oh, you know, your stats are this. I was like, what? You know, this. Literally, I was like, this is the first time I've used a repulsor. It's like, oh, yeah, it's this. I was like, okay, cool. But I don't have to use Dakka Rorks. Obviously, with a meta list like Dakka Rorks, you're going there to win, right? He's going there to win. So he's going to play the thing that is the best. But he still has to put in the effort of learning the tricks, learning how to play it, learning the matchups. And he went in. I do not think at any point I saw him stop and think. He just was like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Like, he just knew everything. And like he was just like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I know exactly what I'm doing, when I'm doing it. I don't need to think. I just need to act because I've practiced this and I'm good at the game and I know how to play. And I've got a lot of reps. Also, Harv, thank you very much for subscribing with Prime as well. I shouldn't leave this unsaid. Ben Jones, not only is a professional player, he's a consummate professional. He was really, really nice. I had a great game against him. And at the end as well, when I was sitting down, he came up and chatted to me a little bit there as well. Really, really friendly guy. And, like, he helped me, like, gain more points, which I now realize was probably, like, I don't know if they ever do, like, point differentials. I think maybe it's just based on... So he got 100 points, I got 36. But I could have got lower than 36. But he actually helped me get more points. And I don't think point differential comes up anywhere, but, I mean, man. We had a fun weekend. I did. Thank you very much. What do you think about Dakka Rorks? In my opinion, they show up how inept GW balance team are. This is what he was saying. He was like, they did. He said they did some playtesting or something, but the Dakka Orcs just weren't like revealed to them, and they were like, "What the hell is this?" Cersei Legionista. I'm so sorry about your name. Thank you for becoming a member. Skill does factor into it. You got to know your shit. I used to when I was on the grind in AOS. Didn't have such snap decision making, but what you describe as good players will win. Exactly. This is the thing. Like, and again, I bring up Skari a lot. Even when Drukari is bad, he will still win because he is a good player and knows what he's doing. And I even found over my 5 games, I became a better player. And that was taking advice from those better players. Ben, again, after the game, because our game was pretty quick, to be fair. You know, we were talking about, you know, I asked him, like, you know, everything I did, like, what kind of stuff, like, he was thinking about, like, all this kind of stuff. And he was really, really helpful, really, really nice. He gave me a dice as well. One of those Vanguard Tactics dice. Really nice. But yeah. The more events you do, the more really not biased. Exactly, yeah. That's the thing. Is like, even just, like, my one World Eaters game, followed by the Blood Angels game, and chatting to, I played a guy called Nathan, who's also from Vanguard Tactics. Really, really nice guy as well. I spoke to him after our game, and he was like, you know, I was talking about some of the things I think I was doing wrong, and he was like, yeah, helping me out. Put that into my 5th game and almost won. So I was like, oh. You get the best players winning GTs with dogshit armies. Good players can know their list. Exactly. This is why going to that event, Elect Man, has really now shown I want to actually do well with 18th Centurions, because I think there is actually, like, legitimate... I think my 18th Centurions are legitimately able to probably get, like, a 3-2 record. Just thought I was a tournament. It was very, very good. I went 1-4, had a great time. And we're just kind of, just asking. I'm just kind of rambling on. I'll chat about anything. I met a lot of really nice people. I saw Ben from Grudgehammer. In fact, I did that thing that I'm sure anyone who goes to events on their own with anxiety does. So Ben from Grudgehammer, who was the guy I played against Votan at Tabletop Tactics, he actually came down. I didn't realize this, but he's good friends with Archie, and they traveled down together. So I got to see him and Archie, and at lunchtime, I think. So I went to see how Ben's game was doing. Ben was playing, again, hilariously, Ben's first game, Ben Grudgehammer, because there's two Bens. The Ben I played, Ben Jones, good, pro player. Then Ben Grudgehammer, who's also a very good player, but who was in the previous video. Grudgehammer Ben was playing in his first game someone who knew who I was, so he'd see his list and go, "Hey, I recognize those Votan." That's what Paul. So when I went over to say hello after my first game, he's like, "Oh, here's another guy called Lewis." It was really nice. Chat to him a couple of times over the weekend, and with Brett as well. So I got to meet some people there. And then I think after their game finished, went over to see Archie, who was just finishing his game. Or Archie came over, and then we were discussing, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna go to lunch." I was like, "You don't mind if I tag along?" Because I didn't have any plans for lunch. They were like, "Sure." So it's that thing. It's the anxiety thing of going, "Hey, I know these people. I'm gonna latch on and hang out with these guys. So at least I have someone to just speak to and know to kind of travel with." You know what I mean? So again, thanks to Archie and Ben there for sticking up with me as I kind of follow them around. Do anything is to really go back and look at your game, see if you can get some coaching. This is the thing. I think coaching is interesting. I kind of want to go coachless because I like learning. The amount I learned from this tournament, just from speaking to the other players, is immense. My third opponent, Adam, was his name, I think. Yeah, he was great. I had a good game against him. I think both of us were quite tired, though. It was a fairly quick game. We were quite tired, so it wasn't as much banter, much talk. We were just kind of going through it. And I was against Worldies, didn't know what I was doing. So it was still a fun game, still a really good game. But the next day, I was kind of sitting waiting for things to open, and he came over and we started chatting again. Obviously, both refreshed. He had a nice big breakfast. We were nice and refreshed. He had more chat, and we talked more about the game, and I got some more advice from him. And yeah, he went on and did quite well. He's great. Oh, hey, Lewis. Lewis. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I'm at work at the moment, so watch VOD later. Hey. Well, thanks for stopping by. And good luck with the rest of your work. What were some of the coolest models you saw at the tournament? Oh, man. Oh, my God. There was a Knight's army, which was... I will post it in the Discord. Which I think I've never seen anything like this. And... good fucking lord, this thing. Copy image. So if you're on my Discord, I'm going to put it in the stream chat. Stream chat. I'd show it on screen, but actually, why don't I show it on screen? It would be easy to do this. I think if I just do that, it's going to work. Oh wait, I need to. Sorry, not quite going to work until I do this. I can't type at the moment. From me. There we go. What the hell? There we go. Should be there. Why is it not showing up? How's that image? In stream. But why is that just not showing? All right. Sorry, I'm dawdling. Discord. Let's just do it this way. Oh, you can't see it properly. You can kind of see a little bit of it. Let me fix this. There we go. As we're revealing more and more horrifying shit. Like, look at this thing. Like, holy it's not sometime in December. Let me remove the date. Look at this thing. This I saw this walking. I think Ben, Grudgehammer Ben, saw this like in a box. It was like, it looked like a terrarium, and I saw it walking past on the second day, and I did the double take because I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And they had the best painted, and they had like best painted armies, and this one is fucking amazing. Like, I didn't get the name of who did it. It was written down. I'm so sorry for forgetting your name, but holy shit, man! If you're out there, you've got a proper talent. That is fucking incredible. And there was a lot of really nice armies out there. Absolute, like, there was some models that they had, like, you know, individual models as well for competitions. I saw a Tau army, which was like really cool, like dynamically, like posed and stuff. It's Ben Foots. All right, Ben Foots or Foots. This is an incredible army, man. This is fucking amazing. If you're not out there, you've returned to the warp exactly. It just looks incredible, right? And there was a lot of other really nice ones there. But even the ones that were like, there was one that I think was just like a Gladiator Lancer, which it was one of those ones where you just look at it and just go, that's just clean, man. It's flawlessly painted. It might not be like flashy, but it's flawless. I'll take that off screen because it's fucking horrifying. Only found your channel last night. Been addicted to your videos. Oh, thank you very much. I will continue to try and be funny. Yeah, what a great time to join and have eyes. So that I think was the best models I've seen. They are just amazing. Yeah. Ben Jones, the winner. I want to keep clarifying that, like, just because it makes me feel better. Like, you know that thing where maybe other people don't do it. Like, if your favorite team gets knocked out of a tournament, you go, well, at least we lost to the tournament winners. I could say that. I could be like, you know, well, at least I lost to the guy who won eventually, like in the end. So I can't possibly be like the worst ever because he won everything, so I couldn't possibly beat him. But he had a really nice painted army as well. He was saying he had some from a friend of his who'd unfortunately passed away, which were amazingly painted. Like, even the grots had so much detail, and he was like, and Ben's really humble as well, because he was like, oh yeah, here's the ones that are really bad, but they were still really well painted. And like, obviously, it's one of those ones where if you have a model painted by a friend right next to all of your models, it makes all your models look terrible, like a certain Tech Marine. But his stuff was still really cool. And apparently, because my opponent first went on second day, Nathan, being part of Vanguard Tactics, they were having a conversation. When he saw that he was against me, Ben apparently was like, oh yeah, he's the 18th Centurion guy, and apparently people like my list. A TO came over, and in my second game on the first day, I was like, oh, I found you, you're the 18th Centurion guy. I don't think it was from like your porn is bad stuff. It was like we saw your list and we really liked it. So I think I've got like people now who are like, oh, you're the 18th Centurion guy, without knowing I do YouTube stuff. But no, it was a really good time. Doing spec one during excellent videos. Haven't entered tournament, but have some fun games at local game store. Yeah, I mean, don't like. I feel like you don't need to delay like doing tournament. I mean, Lewis, who I spoke about earlier, who popped in, he's only been collecting and playing for 4 months, and he went 3-2. Like, incredible play. He only had 3 Centurions. I think he could have gone 5-0 if he had more Centurions. He only has 3. But I mean, he's managed to construct a really good list, painted really nicely, and has gone to a tournament. So, any advice on someone who just did their 2-day tournament? People are going to tell you to hydrate a lot, which is true. But also sit down. Just tell yourself, like, out loud, sit down. At some point. Just sit down. And just have fun. Like, go in there, just play. Don't treat it like... I didn't play any of those games like I was at a tournament. I just played them as if I was just playing, like, fun games. And, you know, chat to people, just, like... Even just, like, looking at someone's model going, yeah, they're really cool. You can get into conversation. Someone in the last game, someone came up and just, I think he was a friend of my opponent, but he looked at my models and went, oh, I really like your Centurions. We just had a bit of a conversation. It's just, people people are there to play games, and some of them might some of them just paint quickly. I think my opponent, Bill, said he had like, it took him like, 4 hours to paint his angle. It's still really like nicely painted, but obviously very like quick paint job, not super detailed, but still very nice. So some people are much more like playing a lot of games, and some people are there more as a hobbyist. So just hanging out with people, like talking to people next to you. I met another guy called Paul because I was at table 122, he was at table 123. But obviously he kind of read down, went, oh, Paul 122. So he was at my table. Then I came to 122. He went, Paul. I went, oh, Paul. He thought I was like saying his name back to him. He thought he was saying his name, and he was like, oh, you're Jared. I was like, no, I'm Paul. I thought you were Jared. So he was at table 123. So he just had to move one over, and then my opponent turned up. And annoyingly, he beat me by like 5 places, that other Paul. So I'm not even the best Paul. I might be the worst Paul, actually. I'll need to double check that. He wasn't, he actually was, he was fairly cliche, but at least. So that's at least not less confusing. Maybe I should build a 12 Castellan robot to fight your 80 Centurions. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, if there had been a 36 Centurion guy, I would have had to leave because I wouldn't be able to live in his presence. So when's the 36 Centurion list? I don't know if I need 36. I think 18 is a good number. I think I can win with 18. Hope you know that, guys. I've so far, and again, this is obviously because of, I'm not saying that there are not that guys out there. The problem with I think with that guys, or people who are who you don't have a good time with, it's that negativity eats into your head, right? Like, I've now played 2 tabletop tactics places and this 5 days. So that's 11 games at tournaments, and I've had an amazing time in every single one. But I reckon if I go to another like 2-dayer and have a bad one, then that's going to be like, well, that bad experience now. So I think when I'm making my videos, one thing I am going to try and do is really make sure to hammer home, which is what I do kind of, every single time I do one of these tournament things, which is twice. I go, this is who I played. Really nice guy. Like, I want to make sure that people understand that like people are really friendly and really cool. And if I have a bad game, I don't think I'm going to call it out, because I feel like that's just going to feed into that thing of people go, oh yeah, this or that guy, obviously that guy's going to appear. I want to kind of keep things positive. So if I do have a bad game, I'm probably just going to talk about the game and less about the player, and maybe just say, but this guy, he was fine. Although that's going to be a problem now. If I don't say they're a really nice guy, you're going to be like, oh, what happened? I don't know. I've also played one game at the at a club against a stranger. Again, he was really nice, and I really got a good time against him as well. Stat check here for you. There were 4 pulls at the event, and I was the worst. Damn it! Ah! And I think I checked the number of points. I think I lost by like, or I think I was only like 12 total points behind. But I did look at everyone else's strength of schedule. Mine is the only one that's 3. Like, my average opponent's best wins is 3, but that is because I played against a guy who won 7 games. At least I am the worst Paul. You know what? That's fine. What was played at the tournament? Prime Nexus? Yeah, Prime Nexus mission pack. Went 3-3. Hell yeah. Congratulations. What's your opinion about Kill Team? I'll never shut up about it. I need to play more Kill Team. It was a lot of fun. 300 people? What the fuck is going on? Hello, everyone. Thank you for dropping in to hear me ramble about a tournament I went to. Thank you for stopping by. And a decent number over on Twitch as well. Like the stream, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. And if you were one of my opponents who have found me randomly, then hello to you. Strength level is actually higher than mine. Mine was 2.8. Yeah, I reckon... I think mine needs to be recalculated if you cap... I think I need to cap Ben at 5, because obviously him going to 7 shoves my average massively higher. Everyone I played against, though, did get higher than me. Like, every single player. 2 PM on a Monday. Yeah. Absolute peak streaming hours. Hey, TF, how's it going? You're becoming too popular, or not popular enough. Hello again from Australia. Hello. Have you ever tried doing 2v2 or 2v2 tournaments? I've not actually. I've not thought about it. Might like something to do. Here's the problem with that. Is 18 Centurions is basically 1,000 points. So it's basically just like, what are you going to do to support my 18 Centurion habit? Don't follow to start a cult. I am kind of starting a Centurion cult, I believe. That's the problem. like the latest Auspex Tactics video about Centurions is literally all comments about me, which is very funny, including me, and then Auspex had to go, people are finally here to see you come back. People come for the Warhammer content, stay for the desperate pining for another F-Zero. Very true. Very true. Actually, 2 undefeated AdMech players, they end up playing in the mirror round. Yeah. That's the thing. I think because the last 4 was Ben versus AdMech, and then the other 2 were it was Dakka versus Dakka. So out of the top 4, 3 were Dakka. But Ben was saying as well, actually, going back to Dakka, he was like, "It's a good thing you went first." I think it was someone that Lewis. I was speaking to Lewis and someone else. I can't remember your name. I do apologize. You came over, and I think you were his second opponent, and you went, and he said, "Yeah, turn 1, Ben got the first turn, and just grot lined, like massive grot line. You cannot get past now. You're hemmed in." So at least I got to do something. And this is the thing. I felt like I killed quite a lot of his orcs. I felt like my second turn, I was doing quite well. I was like, I've done pretty well here. I've taken quite a lot of his stuff out. And then I looked, and it was like he's got, in his box, like, here's all the stuff I've killed. It was like, 50 models, or maybe 40 models or something. I was like, that's quite a lot. And then he just kept bringing more stuff out. I was like, shit. Yeah, bugger. And then, I had 1 Centurion at the end of round 4. For one, we're interested in seeing some D&D content. Have you considered the idea thus far? I have thought about D&D content. It's one of those ones where when I branch into new content, this happened with Gunpla. When I started doing Gunpla stuff, that video didn't do well, and then it suddenly exploded. I imagine with D&D, it's going to be a very similar thing where doing a couple of things here and there will start to like involve it, bring it into the fold, because it is kind of semi-related, right? Slowly work my way out from there. Video game stuff is kind of too far. The video game videos I don't do well at all. So I'll probably do less of those, or maybe make another channel if I do want to make those. But otherwise, yeah. I mean, I love D&D, man. I love D&D. Turned painting minis after 8-year break. Hell yeah! Welcome back. What's your favorite Gundam? Death Scythe Hell. Or Zeta. I don't know. They're the only ones I have. Direct painting. I can't figure out edge highlights. Here's the thing I learned. My later Centurions, just because I just don't have time, the armor is not edge highlighted, but it still looks really nice. I think because of the colors around it, the matte black actually looks quite nice. I reckon obviously it would look better with edge highlights, but you don't have to worry about them. You can still make some good stuff. And again, this is something I think I was talking to Ben about, Ben Jones. I said, like, even though obviously he's got the models that his friend made and the models that he's made, I said, like, together, like, the whole makes all of the component parts look better. So even if you're not very good at edge highlight, you don't have to worry about it. If you have an entire army put together, it's going to make all of the component pieces look better. Thanks for hanging out, Brett, and yeah, have a good rest of your day. Now, Paul, are you forever a DM or a player? I've been a player. I used to be forever DM, but I've been playing for a while. I haven't DM'd in ages, to be fair. How about your mother's cheerleader effect for army? Essentially, I guess, yeah. I think I remember that reference. I haven't seen that show in many. How long's that show back? I never finished watching that show. I remember watching it while I was at uni, so it must be ages. Oh, please do more hot take streams. I will definitely do more hot take streams. Hell yeah, they are really, really fun. I think hot take streams and room reviews are probably going to be like semi-regular things that happen on the stream. But this week is going to be another room review stream. So if you do want to have your room and or your hobby space and your pile of shame reviewed, there's a channel on the Discord for that. Have you painted your Gunpla too? I've not painted any Gunpla yet, no. Any big lessons for the tournament? Absolutely tons. Lots and lots and lots. When is it? This Thursday will be a hobby review. A pile of shame review stream will be this Thursday. But it won't be like if you want to, if you don't have time between now and Thursday to get it in, don't worry. I'll definitely be doing more than one because there's a lot of submissions already. So I might not get to everyone's like on Thursday. Yeah, lessons I learned. 1, sit down. 2, probably take a packed lunch, to be honest, because the lunches I had were they were corner shop sandwiches. They were fine, but probably needed a bit more. Everyone's really cool. Learn a lot from just like talking to people, getting their advice. I've definitely learned a massive trap I've been falling into that I've now learned not to do, which I really kind of learned massively after the 4th game. So I played the first game of the 2nd day, so my 4th game was against Blood Angels, against Nathan. Again, really nice guy. That was the only one I played on the clock. It's CJTV, thank you for following. And Jack's Rants, Jack Rants, I don't think I actually said thank you for following for Jack Rants, so thank you as well. Like, clocks were optional apart from if you were at the very top. He was like, do you mind if we play with a chess clock just to kind of keep time? I was like, yeah, that's absolutely fine, not a problem. We both had plenty of time left, and even though, like, even with like the amount of time we had left, there was still way more time on the round, so we were like, if we go over, it's fine, we weren't worried about it. But he was, but because he plays a lot of like jump hack intercessors and sanguinary guard, and my thought whenever I see the word deep strike is they must go in deep strike, especially with jump hack stuff. So Shrike, both sets of Vanguard vets, or Strike was one of them, and my jump hack intercessors, all by default, I was like, they're all starting by default in deep strike, and that's been a massive misplay because oh, wait, you've just followed me, you've only just say.
God knows how I wasn't already following.
Wow.
I've been in the Discord
Thank you for
a good month. Smiley face emoji.
Thank you for the 2 months prime. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's wild. Hey, at least you notice now. What was I saying? Yeah, so I just put all those deep strikes thinking like they have to come down. They have to come down in deep strike to do stuff like in the back line. The problem is every time I do that, they come down and do one thing and die. That's like, great, I've wasted. But he started all his stuff, like, majority of his stuff was starting on the board, like, all of his jump packs and sanguinary guards. So I was like, I mean, he was basically, after the game, I was like, yeah, like, I don't do that and you did, like, is that a mistake? And he was like, yeah, and he was like, yeah, I think deep strike actually can be a trap. Leet Wheats, thank you for following. And it was like, if you can do, like, he's like, in the next game, if you can position here, you can actually start staging with stuff. And in my last game against World Eaters, I only put one set of Vanguard vets with Shrike in Deep Strike. Everything else started on the board. And then a lot of stuff I was able to actually get a lot more points early by flying stuff forward. So that I think has been the biggest lesson. And that's why I think my list actually can do well. Because my issue was that, again, the major problem of my list is being hemmed in. So my Adam, my third opponent, the first World Eaters guy, he just ran across the board, hemmed me in, and just took away the primary. Every single game I've played, my primary was worse than my opponent's. The game I won, and the last game where I almost won, and in fact, actually, the 4th game, I weathered that storm and started making my way back in, but the primary difference was too big. In my 4th game against Nathan, the reason was because he could get jump things onto the points and I couldn't because I had everything in deep strike going, oh, I'll get you later. But he managed to do some really effective screens. So whilst I did manage to fight back, I then just couldn't finish the game off. I actually got more secondary than him, but not more primary, and that was a big problem. And that was a massive problem in the 3rd game because it was taken hold with 4 mid objectives, and World Eaters just took them all. It was like 15, 15, 15, 15. I couldn't do anything. Like, Pokemon Renault have a version of the ROM with every Pokemon available. It's very similar to the original type Pokemon, which is like, hell yeah, that sounds cool. If you decided to get deeper in AOS and play Stormcast, there's times where you don't always want to put sort of half units in Deep Strike. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I've learned, and why I think my list can do well is because if I have more stuff, because the 5th game against World Eaters, I started a lot of stuff on board and pushed a lot of stuff out to kind of stop him from getting to my lines so quickly. So he had to kind of go through a wall of stuff, and that allowed me to really get a move on and kind of get my Centurions like online. I missed who that was. I'm so sorry. Airymon, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Hell yeah. Maybe outright didn't look. Potentially, I was looking at that. The only change I've made now to my list. Hope you're doing well. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, hope you're doing well as well. Thank you for stopping by. Sometimes I put Land Fortress in reserves. That is very funny. I actually think maybe putting some of the assaults in reserves might be good, or maybe starting a 3 unit of Centurions in reserve also works. Because I actually liked it. I think it was in game 2, I think. I picked up my 6 squad of Centurions, as I do, plonked them down, and then I picked up my squad of 6. Didn't put them down in my turn 2. But at the end of his turn 3, I then picked up 3 more Centurions. And so on my turn 3, I could actually have 2 lots of Centurions coming down and like as a pincer. And that was really good. So I think having more stuff like that is actually really valuable in my list. And so having more stuff on the board that can help just like slow things down while I get that set up, I think is going to be quite strong. On Deep Strike, I ran into problems with Tau a lot. I kept putting my crisis in Deep Strike. I couldn't work out why everything was dead by turn 2. Yeah, exactly. You need something to like stop the wave. We each pick 3 Centurions and send it to Paul. Oh, I found out apparently the Vanguard Tactics guy, Steven, I think Ben Jones was saying like he saw my list and really liked it because he's a big Centurion fan. I think he said in the studio he has like 40. I'm like, wow. I want them. That's what you've got to say. Really admire how you commit so hard into bit of your list. I mean, thank you. I mean, it's one of those things where I know there's going to be a problem at some point where I go too deep into the hole and go, no, guys, really, this is a competitive list. I really can do this, and it's going to cause problems. But I know he said no more 40k, but I do like the idea of list swapping. Yeah, Centurions limits to 2-man units. Get out of my sight. No more 40k for this man. Gave you some more meaningful choices. You might have some units we want in Deep Strike, like Prosecutor, Vanguard, Raptors. But if I need to analyze the board, yeah, exactly. I actually also think I want to split Strike up because in the 5th game, him and his Vanguard squad did a lot of work, but he could have done it on his own, and I would have had an extra unit available. I know like this is where things are gonna fall apart. Because I like to play my list and not be a coward and take 18 Centurions, and I like the Inferno pistols. But the Vanguard vets really, really need that 4-up invuln with the Storm Shields, and the pistols aren't that useful, so I might swap them out. Just because I think... I feel like it's getting to that path where I'm like, do I just play pure meme, or do I actually go pure meme plus, like, making the pure meme work? Because it'd be even funnier if I actually made, like, 18 Centurions work, in my mind. I don't know. Yeah. There's a lot going on. You can even fit 40 Centurions in your Mag Super. Oh, exactly, because it was so nice being able to just pull a tray out and go, there's my list. That was just so fun. And they all look really nice, and, like, all the colours there works really well. Can they take an Apothecary? Vanguard vets, I don't think they can, no. How would you use a Brutalis? I don't know how to use him. I put him in a Storm Raven and get him killed. That's basically it. I honestly don't know. That's the other thing, is I couldn't have the Brutalis. I love Brutalis. I'm like, and this I think also solidifies my thoughts of having like a Storm Raven list and a Centurion list, because there's so many other units I really like. I love the Blade Guard Blob. I love the Storm Raven. I love the Brutalis. I love the Tech Marine. But to be honest, the Tech Marine and the other character didn't work in this list. And I'm sorry to say, I think in the Centurion list, I don't need the Tech Marine. But I want to take it because it's a really cool model, right? And again, this is why I don't want to drop the Vanguard vets, because I love the way they look. And I can't really say that they're jump pack intercessors because they don't have... it's so difficult to say, oh yeah, these guys are the jump pack intercessors, but that guy has the Power Fist and the Plasma, even though it's not modeled, and that guy... You just have to believe me that Captain Falcon is the guy with the Plasma Pistol. You know who Captain Falcon is, right? From F-Zero X. He's the guy with the Blue Falcon. It looks like this. Like... Unless my opponent knows F-Zero, it's going to be difficult to track, right? And Lightning Claws are cool, so I'm going to keep them as Vanguard vets. So that is going to cost me, like, it's 20 points extra for that instead of Jump Pack Intercessors, which is fine. But the stuff like, yeah, I thought, like, taking the Tech Marine and the Phobos Lieutenant out of the list and putting in a squad of, like, heavy intercessors, just for some battle line, gives me, I think, a bit more to work with, because the Lieutenant and the Tech Marine didn't really do anything. And in fact, in the 5th game, my Tech Marine just died. Because my repulsor, which was charged, exploded. And it's a D6 explosion from a repulsor. And what's awful about that is that within 6 inches was my Tech Marine, Vanguard Vets, 2 different lots of Centurions, 2 different lots for him of 8-bound, Angron, and something else. All of those things were in, like, within the explosion. And so that one exploding, repulsor killed my Tech Marine, 2 Vanguard Veterans, 2 8-bound, took 6 wounds off of Angron, and killed a Centurion, and took another one down to a wound. I was like, oh my god, that was a really bad explosion. And then the other one, which was primed to explode right in his lines, didn't explode. I'm like, oh. But man, yeah. There was some really funny, like, some just really, like, good moments in some of the games. I did feel bad for Nathan in my 4th game. Because I just, like, literally, I dropped my Assault Centurions out of the car to move, and I was like, okay, your ballistas is there. If I can get, like, I think it was like a 10-inch charge, I'm in, and I can punch it to death, and then be in his back line. And I rolled it as a 4, so I'll CP reroll that, 11. I was like, yes, Centurion's always fighting. Centurion straight into his ballistas. And then I saw he had 1 jump pack intercessor on his own. And I was like, oh, I've got, you know, I tried charging in some Centurions, 4 failed. Deep struck some my own jump pack intercessors that needed 9, failed. I was like, there's only 1 guy left. There's a jump, there's a repulsor here. What's the measure on that? It's like, oh, it's 12 away. It's like, oh, you know, no reason not to give it a go. Double 6. Tank shocked it to death, and he was like, oh my god, you just rolled a 11. I was like, I'm so sorry. But it was very funny. But then he also then rolled really hot, because he had Dante with 6 Sanguinary Guard in a squad. And Dante's pistol, like, killed 2 Centurions. It's like, what the hell? And then when he charged, he didn't get a big enough charge, so he charged in, and one of the, for where he'd positioned them, one of his Sanguinary Guard was, like, poking out. And so I could drop down my Centurion, my 6 blob of Centurions, and just delete Dante and his 6 Sanguinary Guard. And then at the end of the game, I guess someone else from Vanguard Tactics came over and was like, how'd it go? And he's like, oh, he killed Dante. And the guy was like, I told you, like, we talked about this last night. His 6 Devastators will kill them if you give him the chance. So he's like, yeah, he did that. Which is very funny. I think most people know Captain Falcon have no idea he's from F-Zero. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it says it's great for holding a home objective. Yeah, that's what I think as well. I think they're going to be really good. It's because my problem was I was using incursors for that job. But incursors, I need to be the one scouting forward to make that move block. That's what they would be really good at. Did you ever try to do a team tournament? Maybe one day. My favorite explosion was T-Vault in the Tesseract Vault in the middle of a board. Middle of a bunch of Wardens who had already used their 4-up on the tanks. D6 plus 3 deadly damage. 8 to 9 wounds on everything. It was glorious. That's how, yeah. I love explosions and chains explosions. They're always fun. Never count an explosion by your enemies, but always assume it's going to go boom in your lines. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, Flamers for Overwatch is quite good. One thing that is a tactic that I need to use, you know, at some point. If there's nothing good to Oath the Moment is something you think is going to charge you, and then just put my Flamer Centurions there and go, you can come at me if you want, but I can, you know, +1 to wound on Flamers is going to be quite nasty. Obviously, you know, really depends on how you know how things go, but what you really need is Helbrecht. Helbrecht is... So, here's something that I found out, apparently. I think I saw a post which was like, here's the breakdown of all of the different things. I was the only Raven Guard player. Like, obviously, it breaks it down by, like obviously, other people are probably playing, like, Raven Guard-like things, because a lot of people played Vanguard Spearhead. But I was the only person using Shrike, and therefore making it Raven Guard. Which is really funny. It means everyone going, oh, boy, I want to learn Raven Guard. Let's have a look at some recent tournament lists. Oh, this guy played Raven Guard. Oh, he only won 1-4, but let's have a look what he's got. 18 Centurions. Ah, you fucking... What is this shit? What if you proxy Centurions as aggressors so you can... so go on the board more? I actually have some aggressors, I think. I have some flaming aggressors. That's one of the other tactics I want to do is flamer aggressors, like with a... Gravis Cat. This is one we discussed ages ago. I think... Electman, I think we've chatted about this. I think you might have brought it up once. no, Gravis Captain with 6 aggressors with Blade Driven Deep for the Flamer. It's either that or Judicia with Blade Guard. It's weird I use a Gravis Captain as a solo character. To be fair, I think the Gravis Captain is really, really good. And he doesn't really like when he doesn't do anything when he leads a unit, right? Because his main thing is he just halves damage on himself. I think actually Luis had really good he had a lot of Gravis. And yeah, they were tanky. Do you think you're going to upload something on the 4th of April? Probably. Is there a problem with uploading something on the 4th of April? 4th of April will probably be that's probably going to be the Paint Jam results on the 4th. How about April 1st video? No, there might be an April 1st video. There might be. I have done fast 2 years. They do terribly. No one watches them, but I have done. Some random dude says hi. Hello. Hello. It was Gravis Captain, Blade Driven D6 aggressors. Your very first Scream Raven, you mentioned you wanted to infiltrate big chunky stuff like Centurions. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, just like flame, just having a flamer block there. Just be like, I will, you know. Because my birthday is 4th. Oh, happy birthday, 4th April. Yes, there will be a video because it's a Friday. Your eyes are twitching manically. It's kind of perfect for an April 1st video. Yeah, the eyes are all crazy. What your opinion on this? Make it so if you overkill a vehicle, you start to add to the chance of extending demise going off. Overkill it by 4+ wounds, 5+. I like that. The main thing is going to just be any rule like that is just complication of math, right? Like it's simple to be like daily demise is this and it does this, but I do like the idea of rules like that being used elsewhere. Like I think there should be like a you know, for fun games, that's a really cool rule. Like, you know, I like the idea of like if you run into like if you kill something so hard, like, you know, there's consequences. So overkilling is funny. Or like you can drive a vehicle into something and push it back, or you tank shock something so hard it explodes automatically, you know. Any rules like that are fun. It's again, it's one of those divisions between really, really cool, probably not for like standard play, but I like the idea of having all of these kind of things where you can kind of like, you know, you spin a wheel, you play a game, spin a wheel every round, and there's a really silly rule that happens. Then my Rampage allows to go from a problem in your front line to a real problem. I mean, you're already a bloody problem. Yeah, Rampages are scary. Except when you roll like 9 out of 10 4-up saves and you just, you know, it's fine. It's not a problem. Yeah, destructible terrain. Being able to move the terrain would be very funny. Imagine if you had a thing where you could just like kick, like someone's hiding behind a wall, you have like a knight or a dreadnought that could just like a Brutalis just pushes the wall back and just hurts the people in there. Stuff like that is very funny. I have a Carcatron. Is it Carcatron? Carcaradon? Carcatron? Carcaradon, I assume. Or it's not Carcharodon. I think it's Carcaradon. I could be wrong. One of my list uses 15 Space Wolf Terminators. Hell yeah. Is it possible, or any advice interested in playing as the Sons of the Primarch who did nothing wrong? I probably aren't. I haven't played enough Thousand Sons. Carcharodon, yeah, nice. I haven't got enough Thousand Sons. I haven't played enough Thousand Sons to give you some proper advice, apart from get ready to do a lot of trim if you're painting them. Magnus is a very, very cool model, and just buy loads of Scarabcot Terminators and like 12 Mutant Vortex Beasts. This guy is single-handedly responsible for tricking me into building my power chain. I'm so sorry. I bet the Dark Angel's been enjoying running 2 Deathwing Nightbricks. Yeah, Deathwing Nightbricks seem pretty scary. You gonna leave that? All right. Thanks for playing, Jesse. And happy birthday for the 4th as well. Cool. Speaking of, you know, hydrating, I should do that. In fact, I'm running out of drink, so I'm gonna down that drink and my model's gonna go weird. Everyone hydrate. Chico trim liquid mask made my Knight's Armor just super easy anyway. That's not a bad idea, actually. I will say I actually had a really easy time doing the dazzle camo for the repulsors. I know like you probably shouldn't use like regular masking tape, but I didn't have any like proper, you know, mini painting masking tape, so I just used regular. And I think I only had one bit come off. Like only one piece pulled off some of the undercoat, and I just put like a little, filled it with like silver so it looked like a bit of damage. But the rest of it came out and it was really easy. It came out really nicely. The main thing was just like cutting the masking tape down to size. It's a bit rough, but like for far away, it looks really nice. They look fun on the board, so I'm happy with how they came out. Does the guy wants advice to T-Sons? If you want to run a comp list, you really want Magnus and Araman with a block of 10 flamer for rubrics. Otherwise, just aim for a good number of Cabal points. Yeah, pretty much. Like, I think most Thousand Sons lists now are like lots and lots and lots and lots of characters. In fact, let me have a look at let me find the top Thousand Sons player at this event, and I'll tell you what they played. Obviously, again, like meta lists, blah blah blah. The thing is, I think people get really like, you know, worried by going, oh, you know, that's just chasing the meta. But understanding like how your army works is good. Like people, you don't like looking into the meta and finding out how your army works and what people are using. It's still good, even if you're not like chasing meta. At least you get an understanding of what things are used and you kind of start to work out why. Yeah, so like top three were Orcs, Admech, Dark Angels, Admech, Guard, and Aldari. They were the top 8. Let's find the first Thousand Sons player. There's a Drakari player that did very well. Right, we might be scrolling down for a while. I don't think there were even that many Thousand Sons players there, to be honest. I didn't see any. Oh. Sex Evil Paramage 6969. What a name. Thank you for following over on for subscribing with Prime. Love YouTube videos. Thank you very much. What's your opinion on taking 120 Orc boys to a tournament? Because I'm considering it. I mean, if you take 120 Orc boys, I mean, if you play Dakka, you're probably going to win, to be honest. Here we go. 73rd. A 3-2 victory here for the best Thousand Sons player. Araman, Exalted Sorcerer on disc, Infernal Master, Magnus. 3 squads of Rubrics with Flamers, a small blob of Zangors, 2 Mutalith Vortex Beasts, Zangor Enlightened, and some Cultists. So yeah, it's like lots of characters and lots of like unit spam and then a couple of monsters. And Spawn Love, thank you for subscribing with Prime. And Skatoskio. Sorry if I got your name wrong. Thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing with Prime. Do you think that Hellblast is useful? Do you too much of a risk? Too risky to play? I know people do like Hellblasters. I'm not a big fan of Hellblasters. I think they are cool, but I don't think they fit. Oh, I don't have any. Do you have a video showing off your repulsors? Not yet. No, I've only like taken the Tordy photos. I haven't actually done any proper photos or anything as of yet. But yeah, 120 orc boys. If you're taking 120 orcs of various types, you'll do very well. I think Ben. Let me have a look at Ben's list. I think we calculated had like 100 summon models. Look. Yeah, so we had Beast Boss, Big Mech, 3 Big Mechs, which are terrifying, Pain Boy and Zod. He had a 20 boy blob, a 10 boy Beastie Boys blob, and then 10 Flash Kits, 30 Gretchen, 30 Looters, and 15 Tank Busters. So yeah, what's that? 15, 45, 65, 75, 85... 95, 115 just orc just lads, and then 4 trucks and some characters. Herman, thank you for becoming a member.
Hello. Watching from my live tank shooting. Have fun.
As in, you're shooting at a live tank or you are firing a live tank? Either way. No, it could be both. Thank you for becoming a member. They want the fire disc lieutenant to really pop. Yeah. Wait, what's that? Yeah, fire discipline lieutenant's really good. That's the upgrade, isn't it? Hellblasters is probably what you're talking about, yeah? That makes sense. I had to re-piece together the the conversation we were having. Where do you find tournament lists? So I find them on Best Coast Pairing, but I think it's because I have an account and I was in that tournament, so I can see all the lists. Have to go. I have Manifold Mini Spay. Hell yeah. Slightly too distracted. I'm so sorry. I'll be silent instead, but no. Thank you for Sunlight. Shooting from a tank. Hell yeah. Do you like the Desolation Squads? I love Desolators. I never got to use them though, because they got massively nerfed before I got around to using them. They went down from like however many points they were for 10, and they can only take them in blobs of 5, and they're 200 points. They're 35 points more than 3 Devastated Centurions. It's ridiculous. But someone has used them quite well, because Indirect is still really good. But man. Also, I'm at least happy that I'm contributing. I don't know if maybe the I wonder if I'm like really like negatively contributing to the win rate and points per faction. I wonder if like Raven Guard has their own section that I'm really negatively affecting. Probably not. Probably under Space Marines, right? I don't know how you see it. I figured you can click into these and have a look at the higher details, but I might be wrong. Thought there was a way on 40k stats to actually look at like. Oh yeah, no, scoring by that's scoring by faction. Visualization. That's faction. Oh, here we go. Faction pages, Space Marines. Here we go. I was finding it eventually. Big Boon. Thank you for following over on Twitch. If you could snap your fingers to have a full army in another faction, what would it be? I don't know actually. There's a few ideas. I was speaking to Brett and Luis about this. I feel like if I go into a different army now, I want to go in with like a very similar thing to the Centurions. Like if I'm going to play Admech, for example, I want to go full Castellans or something. Like I want a gimmick in each of my armies. And I think with Drukhari, I don't really have a gimmick, apart from I have a lot of Hellions. But Drukhari feels like one, it's going to be more difficult to, until their codex comes out, it's going to be difficult to get an idea. And Thousand Suns, I don't know either, but we'll see. Ivy, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you very much. Yeah, Thunderkid are really good. Ben Grudgehammer has a big blob of 6, and they're terrifying. How the Strike Bomb do? The Strike Bomb did okay. I think I was misusing it though. Laird DD or Laird? Is the is DD Welsh? I might be pronouncing it completely wrong because I think like Laird DD might be Welsh. Or I'm just overthinking. Thank you for subscribing. Would you extend the Talos Kronos for your Drukhari gimmick? I do have three Kronoses because I do like them. I feel like I want to go like super fast though. Maybe like a Witch Cult army would be my kind of the gimmick. Like just throw witches at you. What are we looking at here? Yeah, I wonder if actually even the event is. Yeah, the event's not even up here yet, so fair enough. Well, anyway. Just got the newish Kill Team starter set. I'm painting it right now. Do you have any tips for the banner guy? Kill Team starter set. New. Is it the Hive Storm one? Guy with a banner. Oh, the Blood and... Is it Blood and Zeal one? We're getting pretty good to go. Alright. Cheers, cheers, Lakeman. Hope you have a good day. Have you ever considered another detachment for the Screaming Ravens? Yes, this is something, again, I discussed over the weekend. Every single detachment has something good for the Screaming Ravens. The problem is I love the uppy downy too much. The Vanguard, and also the Vanguard Spearhead -1 to hit and cover over 12 inches basically meant that I could actually play the game against Ben Jones. Because if I didn't have that, he would be hitting on 5s and 6s. So he was just getting only the sustained rather than all the 5s. Man. One with Death Guard and Ultramarines. Oh, yes. This one. I think it's just like the standard starter set. The banner guy. I don't have any advice, unfortunately. Is it the Death Guard banner guy? How did you find Haven? I didn't see much of Haven. I will say, getting there for me, very, very easy. And finding the event very easy. I went to like just the high street, like near the train station. Or I guess the street near the train station. Went to a corner shop there for lunch, and it was like, that seems like a standard high street, nothing fancy. Yeah, I don't know. I've never, I guess I've never repainted. Anyone got any Death Guard banner device? I guess there's a lot of like, use a brassy copper color and weather it. You can't really go wrong with Death Guard. If it looks bad, it's because of Nurgle. And then that means therefore it looks good, right? So, you know. Yeah, the problem is the uppy downy I want the uppy downy Centurions. That's I think the key ingredient for the Centurion for the Screamer Raven list and for the 18 Centurions. The issue is like it's picking up a bunch of Centurions and dotting them around the board. Like I said earlier, I think if I start 3 in reserve at the start of the game and then pick up 6, I can do some like proper like pincer movements with them. Again, I'm probably overthinking the tactical acumen and the tactical ability of 18 fucking Centurions, but there you go. But I wish the conversion beamers were a little bit more usable. I'd love to part them on home. Overwatch sus. Yeah, that would be fun. Hope you had a great time at your tournament, and remember, you're a winner to us. Thank you very much. Yeah, I had a wonderful time at the tournament. I'm actually looking to go to a single 3-day event. Single 3-day event? Single 3-game event. Sometime soon. I'm definitely going to go to more events, because I realize as well, like, now that this is my full-time job, going to events like this, it's basically a conference for me. It's basically a networking event. Because, that's horrendous.
Look at the size of that thing!
Paul, I'd love to play against you someday. I'm returning to the hobby. I feel the way you do about dreadnoughts. Designing my own successor. Wanna help me design some background fluff sometime?
Thank you, Ivy, for very, very much for the $20 fucking hell. £20 super chat. It's my own currency. How did I get that wrong? But no, welcome back to the hobby. Dreadnought stuff is really cool. I don't know so much about the fluff. I really struggle with fluff, like lore and fluff stuff. But designing successor stuff is really cool. Like, I've got a homebrew section in the Discord that other people might be able to help as well. But yeah, it sounds cool. Like, I always like reading the ideas in there. There's a Dreadnought. Was it a Grotmus detachment? It might have been. There's a Grotmus. There's a Grotmus Custodes detachment, which was like making Centurions characters, and that might be what you want to look into to like get some ideas from. Not for nothing, you could probably claim yeah, exactly. That tournaments then therefore become a business expense, right? Which is interesting. But also just like I met a bunch of people there, and it seems like I think Bill, my 5th opponent, like he says he's going to like 1 a month. So definitely be able to meet more people, meet the same people again, get to know people. Kind of, carve out the, oh, here comes the 18th Centurion guy dynamic. The other thing, actually, another funny thing. On the first day, obviously, I was at table 1, right? First table, I'm clearly the best player. You got Ben Jones over there. He's got his Vanguard Tactics, like, sports shirt with his name on the back. And next to me, I've got another guy with, like, a team shirt. And, like, all of the top tables, guys with team shirts. And I have a button-up, like goofy, like, literally, like, character goofy, like, bright yellow, goofy button-up shirt. I was like, I'm not in the right place. I need to be elsewhere. But I cannot believe, like, my luck out of all of the matchups, 264 players or whatever, my very first matchup is fucking the guy who won the whole thing. And, like, how do I mean, I'm very it's both unlucky to, obviously, that's an auto loss, right? Also very, very lucky that I got that experience and got to like, hang out with him, speak to him, and play a game with him. Like, that's a really cool experience. I'd love to play him again. At some point in the future, I'd love to swap. I'd love to do a thing where I'm just like, here's my list. Like, how would you give me a list? I'll give you a list. How would you, or even just I'll give you my Centurion list. I'll play something else, whatever, just to see how his brain works. like, it's such a cool experience. I really like, really appreciate that from him. If we ever have another army, what would it be? A lot of people ask that question. I might do a video on that because it is very difficult question to answer. I do kind of want, not just because of Dakka orcs. Orcs are very fun though. Or maybe there's a lot of armies I want, to be fair. Like just full mech tau, like just loads of like broadsides and riptides. Because the Superchats are just out my monetary capacity. So yeah, the rules around them are really cool though. I'm saying like for if you're doing a custom detachment stuff, or I guess you're making your own successor. If you ever want to do like custom detachment stuff, look into that. If you want to turn your like your successor chapter into like a whole thing, like I'm trying to do, but very slowly and not actually finding time to do it. Got bet into TJ Lanigan round 1. Nice. Yeah, yeah, the fact that I got to play it, the fact I was actually really hoping he would win because I wanted to be like, yeah, I had played against the winner. I mean, I'm clearly, you know, on his level. Are you going to the LGT this year, London? So yeah, as we approach August, so I think after April, I'll probably not be doing any tournaments between like then and like sometime after that because I have to plan for a wedding at some bloody point. It reminds me, Steve, I need to set something up with you at some point. But it's like, yeah, like I'm cognizant of the fact that I've got to actually work towards that at some point. So taking loads of weekends off to go to tournaments probably isn't going to be ideal. But also, out of all the places I would want to play Warhammer, and I know I said this to Steve, like, oh, I never want to do a 2-day event, and then immediately I was like, oh, I went to a 2-day event, it was really, really cool. I don't want to go play Warhammer in London, just because I do not like London. It's too big, it's too busy, there's too much going on, it's annoying to get to. I just don't want to deal with London. And I'm sure the event would be great, but I just, no thanks. I think I saw someone, and I apologize for missing your question, you know here. Someone said, will I ever go to America to play games? Again, probably not. Or if I do, I'm probably not going to, like, taking an army over to America. I mean, never say never, right? I mean, I might get to the point where I'm like, you know, I'm big boy streamer guy, and I'm invited to places, and I can do stuff, but, you know. So, you know, never say never, but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like LVO, right? Ben Joe said he's been to LVO. It's like, Las Vegas feels like a place that I don't want to go to. Like, it feels like it's too much for me. Like, it's, you know, loud, it's busy. You know, I am, as much as being obviously a YouTuber and talking a lot, and, you know, I'm happy to meet people at these events, but I am still fairly, like, actually, I think someone mentioned, like, they saw me just, like, sitting staring into the distance, like, on my phone or whatever, and didn't come up to me because they thought I was being arrested. Like, I don't exude, like, hey, come talk to me. I don't come up to people, but I'm happy people come up to me. And I feel like places like London or Las Vegas or any, like, busy places, it's gonna be a rough time. You'll be able to come up with you for background fluff? For passion? Oh, hell yeah. I've definitely, like, Screaming Ravens fluff, I've had some ideas from the community, like, a lot of them. And I feel like, I think when I get round to the fluff side of the Screaming Raven supplement, yeah, like, the community has so many good ideas. Like, I think the sign language stuff was a community idea. Some of the stuff around their individuality, some of that might be ChatGPT, some of it was community stuff. There's loads and loads of stuff. It's really, really cool. And I imagine once I get more back into it, this is the problem, right? I've got all these ideas for that, and then I'm also like, I want to go do more events. Very, very busy. But I'm really enjoying myself. That's the main thing. Like I said, I've got video this week. I'm going to be talking about more Dakka. Because I do worry that what's going to happen is more Dakka is going to they're going to do the classic double nerf, where they nerf the detachment and also the things that made the detachment good. And I feel like they can do better. But hey. And also the video is going to be about, like, are players good just because they have used the meta, or are they actually good? And the answer is they are actually good, but if you have two very good players who are basically the same level, what happens? Like, if you got two players, they are like, they know everything about the game, they make no mistakes. How do you tip and become the winner? Well, you take the best thing, and then they take the best thing, and then it becomes a skill matchup again, right? Which is why, like, at the end, it's like orcs, admech, like, it becomes a skill matchup. Going on a 12-hour flight overseas with a bag of only Centurions, just carry on. That is basically it, right? At least you're just like, here are my Centurions. What's your favorite original chapter? I do like ones that they... I guess you mean the ones that they made. Raven Guard, probably. Just because Raven Guard are cool. I like birds. Have you looked at Malifaux? I've heard of it. I haven't looked into it, though. Again, a lot of the games like this, I've said this before. And again, I don't know when I'm going to fit it into my... I kind of need to plan out. Because I plan out videos, like which ones I'm going to do each week. I think... I can't remember who it was, but someone was like, man, that tournament video you did about the second one where you lost 0-3, that must take you weeks. I went, nah, it took me 4 days. It was 4 days of, like, literally, like, 10 hours of work each day. So it was, like, 40 hours of work for that video. So I kind of plan out each week, like, what video I'm going to do and what I'm going to work on. And then from that, I go, okay, I'm going to plan, like, I'm going to do streams here and here and here. But I don't really plan the streams out. So I think each week I need to be like, this is where I'm going to do this kind of stream. Because it streams like the looking at other rules. So, like, I want to look into Malifaux. Like, do a deep dive into Malifaux and Trench Crusade. All these things, like, the community's help on a stream. Those are the kind of things that I really enjoy doing as streams. And then I could potentially turn them into videos later. But I need to plan those out. Probably those are kind of going to be the Thursday streams. Like, they're the big weekly streams that I've always done. I think more Dakka needs to come down to Sustained 1 instead of Sustained 2. I've heard a couple of ideas like that, yeah. Sustained 1, Sustained 2 in the WAR. Changing the WAR thing. A lot of it, actually, is less that. It's the bloody stratagem that allows them to put a unit into the WAR. It's 1 CP and they can do it every round. It's ridiculous. Like, either once per game, make it 2 CP, or, I don't know, do something else. There's a lot of ideas. Expect a nerf and not a nice one to Dakka. This is why the rest of all communities dreading the nerf. YouTube is never nice on us. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, this is the problem. Like, they kind of just released this, and it's a really fluffy list. I love the idea. Maybe Continental? Yeah, potentially, yeah. I mean, again, I'm not against traveling for these things eventually, but like, it's one of those ones where I think it's like very like high level ideas, which I really do want to do, but I need to ground myself. There's one problem I have, and it's kind of like part of how my ADHD-ish brain works. I say ADHD-ish. I do have ADHD. I get all these grand ideas and they all spiral. I get loads of ideas and then I go, wait, I need to ground myself and kind of one step at a time it. Because that kind of comes up in a lot of things where I kind of, again, this is how going to this tournament and doing what I did was from that going, I should go to a 2-day tournament. There's one right near me, let's go. And then go, oh, I want to take 18 Centurions. I need to buy them right now. And then suddenly I've got this mess where I've got to like make 2 repulsors and 6 dreadnoughts and paint them in a week. Which is why I barely streamed last week. Because I also was like, I've done this when I'm also making the video that's going to take me 40 fucking hours. So, you know. Need to ground myself a little bit. Have you heard about Gaslands? Yes. I have a video about Gaslands, in fact. Called... I think it just says... I think it's Gaslands, the best game about toy cars or something. I love Gaslands. It's one of my favourite games. I haven't played it in a while, but I do love it. And again, like, literally first turn, the first time I gave Gaslands, on the first turn, I just went, okay, turn, and I just caused a wreck. Very funny. What's your advice for playing Centurions? They're very, very scary, but the Devastators get locked in melee. Protect them. And make sure they can get away. The Assaults, if they can get into any vehicle, great. However, they're still very scary into anything, because they're still Strength 10 minus 2-3 damage. They're still scary as fuck. Generally heartwarming to find this channel and then seeing your name mentioned anytime Centurions about it. That is my favorite, one of my favorite things I say from having this channel now is that I'm the Centurion guy. My very favorite thing about that is all the people going, who the fuck is Paul? Because no one says like, oh, this is Paul is bad at, like some people say Paul is bad at stuff, but some people just say Paul. So, oh, Paul will love this. It's like, who the fuck is Paul? Like, who is this guy? Like, I don't know. It's very funny to me. When you starting YouTuber, do you have any tips? Unfortunately, no, to be fair. I just kind of like did it and then it went well. Do whatever, if you're finding it fun. Don't stress about it too much. Don't quit your job for it unless your hand is forced, I guess. Just have fun with it. What is your army transport? Sorry, your ass sections are fun. It's the Mac is 2.0 from dead.talk.com. I did get a couple of comments on the most recent video saying that I was talking particularly too fast, and I do agree, I was a bit too fast for some of the parts in that video. So I'm not going to slow down too much, but I am going to make sure that I am coherent. So definitely a couple of bits where I just went too fast. I feel about your Stormraven performance. I feel like including one in the Dread heavy list makes them a good fluff state. Oh yeah, the Stormraven is actually quite good. My problem with the Stormraven is a me thing. Where I was like, I've got a Stormraven that can fly really fast and throw Dreadnought at you. Therefore, I'm going to fly it really fast and throw Dreadnought at you. And never ever forget that it has -1 damage. I always forget it, and it always gets me killed. Someone with ADHD got to ask, how do you stay focused in-game? Medication, probably, to be honest. When I play games... But first of all, I definitely still lose focus and make a load of mistakes in the game. So I'm not exactly perfect. But also, I think when you're playing a game... It's not just you're playing a game, right? You're also you're talking to your opponent. Yeah, I definitely get more conversational with my opponent. I don't know if maybe people have got annoyed, but I would just kind of be saying like making quips, making funny things. Going, oh, this is quite fun, trying to add like some levity to it. I guess like I wasn't playing it super straight as just a board game. Apart from I think my third game on day one, I was very tired, and we just kind of played it out. I did I was trying to like be still with conversation, but I was just like, you clearly know what you're doing. I don't really know what I'm doing. You've already hemmed me in. This is going to be a quick game. We can go home early, but we still had a fun game. Still had a bit of a chat. And then the next day, I think once we both refreshed, we had more of a chat about it, which was nice. I think it's one of those things, but for me, ADHD, obviously, medication helps a lot. And it's because it's that conversational thing and just kind of, it's not just the game. Like, if I'm just like sitting down playing the game on my own, like it was like chess, like I would lose focus immediately. You're right. I will say my problem with this isn't a problem with the Mad Case 2.0 from tabletopstronger.com. Go to tabletopstronger.com right now to buy yourself a Mad Case 2.0. My problem I had with how I did it is, so I hot glue gun the magnets to the base and it works really well, except when the magnets are so strong that they getting pulled out. So I'd pick a bunch up and the magnet would stay there. So my tray has tons of magnets on it, just like loose magnets, and I think I probably lost half of my bowl's magnets. But because the Mad Case 2.0 for tabletopstronger.com, go to tabletopstronger.com right now to get yourself a Mad Case 2.0 #ad. Because it's so well constructed, and because I do have some with magnets, it kind of pins the rest in. So even on the travel home, while half of them didn't have magnets, like they barely moved, which is great. Everyone asks who the fuck is Paul, knows how the fuck is Paul. Very true. Very rude in the comments of a completely different YouTuber's video to not ask how I'm doing. Talking to them to distract them is very Screaming Raven. True. Did you hotel for the GT? It was close enough. It was close enough. Like, it was half an hour away, if that. Up one road. Like, one motorway from my house to the thing. Like, super easy. So I travelled home both times, which was absolutely fine. I know a lot of people like stayed over. That's going to be the next step, I think, going to one where I have to stay over. Because I feel like having the ability to go home was nice, going to my own home, my own bed. I was also fairly early in the end, because my third game lasted not long at all, so I could go home a bit earlier, which was nice. I recommend epoxy over hot glue. Yeah, that's it. I think hot glue does work, but I think I need to... The problem is because I hot glue it, I'm not giving it enough, like, time. And I'm not doing it well enough. I'm putting far too much glue on, and therefore the glue... I need to put less glue on, I think, was my problem. If I put too little glue on, it doesn't stick at all. So I need to get the balance right. But now I have more time for it, because obviously I was doing this, like, the day before. So obviously I lost a load. Everything including a Vindicate? No, I don't think so. I'm not interested in adding an Assassin. Also, I think my list at this point has very little wiggle room. I used your advice to win my first real game, Work Like a Dream. Hope it wasn't the advice in that video, because otherwise, I mean, someone should look into that. Did ADHD make a change much on you? My therapist pretty much told me, yeah, you likely have ADHD, but also told me the diagnosis isn't worth it. No, I mean, ADHD medication has saved me, man. Like, but, and this is the thing, right? Like, your therapist isn't going to know that. Unless you try it, go through titration, actually try it out, because different medications work for different people. My first one worked well, but also was so bad as an appetite suppressant that I didn't eat, so I lost a load of weight. This one is kind of not as good, but also much better on that side, and I've worked with it. Like, when I don't take my medication, I can fucking feel it. It's awful. I think that was a stream. It was over a year ago now. It's unlisted. I might even privated it. But it was one of my standard Thursday streams, an early one. and I hadn't got any medication because I'd run out and I needed to wait. So I'd start the stream like 20 minutes. I was like, I'm gonna have to go. I cannot focus. I can't do this stream. So I had to stop streaming. Like really embarrassingly, just like, sorry, gotta go. I can't do this right now. But there's a stream recently actually where I was like, kind of go through. It's like, this stream's feeling a bit weird. I thought I didn't take my medication at lunchtime. Whoops, be right back. And then it was a lot better from there. So definitely don't take the being diagnosed is not worth it, and don't go sort that out. You have to do it and go through it yourself, like, and find out for yourself. It's individual, right? There's a trick with the green stuff. Yeah, that's also the other one I've heard. Like, because green stuff is essentially becomes like part of the plastic, it makes molten stuff in. Still messing around with gunplers? Yeah, I haven't built one in a while. I've got an idea. I've got one more to build, and I am looking at building a knight gunpler. I want to do a lancer, a Screaming Raven lancer gunpler, like half knight lancer, half gunpler. Look into war magnets. They're great. I've moved over to those instead of using normal mags. Oh, I'll have a look at that. Thanks, Britters. Would you consider painting a Screaming Raven unit themed on Metroid? Bloody hell, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance for the memes. I've not played that game. I think if I do, I might. It's a good idea, actually. I'll think about it. If you're liking curses for move blocking, you will lose your shit when you hear about the scouts. Here's the problem: is I don't like scouts. I feel like they're just fake. They're just fake Space Marines, man. I don't like the way they look. Which is unfortunate because the scouts that that Nathan used in my 4th game did really well for him. So, again, this is part of the thing where the Screaming Raven list of 18 Centurions, there's a limit to how far I'm going to go. Like, scouts are really good, but I just don't like them myself, so I'm not going to use them. So there's kind of like a how far can I get with a list that doesn't go from using the stuff that I'm okay with to using stuff that I just do not like. Work at Premier Inn, you can get a 6% off rooms, and then you can either travel easily for game. Oh, yeah. Premier Inn is probably where I would go. I might not get a job there for it, but I think a lot of people got like a Premier Inn, which is fine. Funny enough, I'm being screened for ADHD at 34. Yeah, I got my diagnosis, I think I was 30, so. Advice on time, keeping quicker games at tournament. Me and my friends play casually to take ages. The main thing is there, Bandit, is playing casually. For some reason, that was one of my biggest worries. I think Steve and I, before we went to the first tabletop tactics place, were worried about the speed. So we started playing on a timer, and we were kind of getting it. We were like kind of getting in there. And every tournament I've been to, I've never run out of time. I've always actually been really quick because you kind of just get into a vibe. You just kind of start going with it, and going too fast has now been my problem. Like, I've had my last game ended with an hour left, and if I just slowed down just a little bit and thought a little bit more, I could have very easily won that game. But again, that's a balance that you get after playing a bunch of tournaments, right? You will work that out over time. But I think just like you play a lot more by the gut when you're at a tournament because you just kind of get into it, and it's kind of like the atmosphere there. You're playing with someone who's also working quick. You're kind of playing off their pace. Turn ones are, and again, you probably find that sometimes the terrain is probably different to what you're playing, so you actually realize, oh, there's very little I can do on turn 1. Like my turn 1 in game 5 took me 2 minutes. It's shocking how much quicker you play at a tournament. Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's one of those worries where you just actually know, like, at a tournament you can play really quick. But the thing is, you don't want to take that back to your casual games, right? Because when you're playing casually, you do want to slow down, relax, just chat and chill, and that's fine. But I think at the tournament, obviously, you're not playing with someone that you know very well, so you're not constantly joking. And even with someone you do know quite well, like, I'd spoken to Razul a few times, so, we had a bit of rapport. We were still there to play the game. We just played the game because we know we're there for that game, right? There's time afterwards. So, because I think that's possibly where it comes from, right? Where it's a lot of, when you're playing casually just with your friends, and like you say, Steve, the noise is why you can't exactly have a long back and forth conversation with so much noise going on around you. But when you're on your own, you can. When you're playing a game at a tournament, what generally happens, or what I found, is that you play the tournament game and then you have the conversation. So I had some nice, long conversations, some good conversations about the game after the game, not during the game, which I think we do. Like, I know when Steve and I play, we'll be discussing our ideas and thoughts and like what we can do and all this, and then there's a back and forth there. But when you're playing a tournament, you do it, you make the mistake or you make the good play, and then you talk about it, right? Nothing like listening to Paul while painting my sister's brother. Hell yeah. With the theme Centurions army, what else would you be interested to focus on units? Like, what would be fun? I did focus on like mass dreadnoughts, like 60 heavy intercessors. I like the Storm Raven. Storm Raven with dreadnoughts would be fun. That one I don't think needs Vanguard Spearhead. For ADHD, I get distracted and I press it constantly, although once I get focused, I stay focused. Yeah, that's the thing. This is one of the things about ADHD, right? Where ADHD is... Everyone is somewhere, probably has some aspects of ADHD. ADHD becomes a problem when it, like, stops you being able to, like, live your life. Like, and one of the things I think is a problem is that people will associate depression with that, right? Where you go, oh, you're easy distracted, you'll get procrastinated because you're depressed. No. For me... I was depressed because I was easily distracted and procrastinating constantly, which meant I was really getting like worried and anxious about my work, about my career, and like felt like I was being held back because I just could not focus on the stuff I needed to do, which was crippling. And since becoming diagnosed and having the medication, it became way better. I did way better in my career until I lost it and had to start this one. But by the by, and it's one of those things where, and it is very much true that people with ADHD. There's a comorbidity with depression because you get depressed because your brain doesn't work. And so rather than trying to fix the symptom of depression, I was on antidepressant meds for a little while and they were terrible. It did not work for me. In fact, probably made things worse. And it was only until I could get an ADHD diagnosis that I was okay. And the problem now is that now that that's more understood, ADHD is very difficult to get diagnosed because the wait lists are so long. I had to go privately. And I was lucky enough to be able to go privately, but on NHS it's like 3-year wait. And that's because there's not enough people to get through that backlog. It's not that there's too many people getting diagnosed with ADHD, it is this, that there is not enough people to get through the backlog, so it looks like there are, right? So, it sucks, man. You get stuck in an analysis paralysis loop where you can't enjoy something or progress until you make a choice. It takes forever to make a choice, then you second it. Yes, 100%, man. 100%. Analysis paralysis is a major problem. Something actually, going back to kind of tournament stuff, like analysis paralysis when playing a game like Warhammer is pretty bad, but a tournament you don't really get it. Sometimes you do, and then you go, no, I'm in a tournament on the clock, make a decision. And then, you know, sometimes you go, that was the wrong decision, but sometimes you don't. The stick one with a shiny white head, do you ever stand in such a way that light reflects off your head and blinds your opponent? I tried. But the problem is, I think with the hall, the lights were too high up, so that it didn't really have that effect, and it was quite just overall bright, so I couldn't really get it, unfortunately. But it is a good tactic, and maybe you have to bring your own kind of gear to get the lights to point. I don't really play anymore after being wiped in turn 1 playing Tau over 100 times in 6th edition. Oh, that's unfortunate, yeah. That's the thing, like I said, like, a negative experience is going to stick with you, right? 18 assaults, 18 devastators. I mean, it's a fun idea. I do at some point. I think on tabletop simulator, I'm probably going to try that at some point. It'll be very funny. The thing is, 18 seems like a lot of Centurions, but I do think it is actually a good number. I think I can work with it. Again, this is possibly me being overconfident with my abilities. But maybe I should look into a diagnosis. I wonder if my imposter syndrome work is because of that. Maybe. Imposter syndrome is a separate thing, right? I think a lot of people have imposter syndrome. My dad said to me like he had it, but then I also have it, and I think my dad possibly has ADHD, but he went undiagnosed because he's old. And ADHD is hereditary, and he has a lot of the same things as I do. Not that he will admit that. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's worth having a look. The other thing to consider is also a lot of ADHD symptoms have similar things with autism. Autism obviously has a lot more of kind of the social stuff. ADHD kind of leans into more towards kind of the executive dysfunction stuff, but there's a lot in the middle, so it's worth having a look into. But again, the wait list, at least in the UK, the wait list is massively long. Thing is, a lot of people get like, this is kind of a weird side tangenty rant thing. A lot of people obviously kind of get, you know, people who self-diagnose. I don't think that's a huge problem. I think obviously if you're self-diagnosing and self-medicating, then that becomes a bit more of an issue where like you probably aren't getting the right stuff. You need to do that professionally. I think saying you think you have ADHD isn't really a problem, because it means that you're going to find a community that you resonate with, and then possibly find advice from them to help you on your next step, right? You don't need to have the piece of paper saying, I have ADHD to get help. And yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like some people do get like, and I understand it, right? It can be annoying, like if someone's like, oh, I have ADHD, and they, they're undiagnosed, but they just kind of say it, and they use it as like a stick to like, as like a defense against anything. But I don't think there's that many people doing that. I think that's definitely more of a thing that's kind of perpetrated on the internet as like a ooh boo diagnosis. But I think saying I think I have ADHD is fine to allow you to find those communities to help you find the next steps. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Best way to describe it is different. Everyone has times that your leg hurts and you don't want to climb the stairs, but people with chronic conditions almost always have a hurt leg or shoulder. Yeah, I guess that's it, right? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and again, I get kind of saying that on the edge. It's like, man, my leg always seems to hurt, but I'm not going to the leg doctor, right? And so he's like, oh, well, we can't help you. You haven't gone to the doctor. Your leg can't hurt that much. It's like, well, they're saying the leg hurts. Maybe if your leg also hurt, go, oh, okay, I understand how you feel. Maybe go see a doctor. It could be that you just have a rabbit in your knee, and you just need to take the rabbit out. It could be that something else, I don't know why I said rabbit in the knee. Yeah, that's a weird thing to say. Or just live with mild dread and indecision. That's the other thing. Like Steve said, you could just do the classic, just kind of live with it and slowly go mad. But up to you. I know people who lied about it in order to get meds from engineering college made me rather sad. Well, that's a weird. I get meds. Yeah, again, I don't know how. Maybe I don't know where you are, but in the UK, I doubt that's possible. I mean, I guess you could if you were connected or something, but like, I feel like again that's probably a minority thing. I don't know. Mentioned my first tournament of Combat Patrol. I'm using Tau. I've only played 3 games before. Should be fun. Yeah, have a good time. Autism could be a superpower. Sometimes it's just introvert. True. Because I was a child and been unmedicated for 10 plus years, I probably should look at medication again. But in the US at the time, there's enough dosage to zombify. It's one of those things, right? Like if you're, it depends how it's affecting you. If you're doing well or not, then yeah. I mean, if it's affecting you, then sure, you should probably look into it. If it's been 10 plus years, you're still doing okay, and then maybe you don't need to. But so that's been you and your doctor, not you and weird 2D VTuber guy on YouTube. Have you read any Warhammer books? Yes, I've read the first 3 Euro Adventurous books, and I've read Infinite Divine. Infinite Divine is fantastic. I think it's my favourite 40k book. Because I've read 4. All of my favourite books. I haven't read that many books. The doc joked and said my partner showing symptom of ADHD, high impulse to buy and start new products, let it gather dust, to Paul shames me to video. That's exactly the reason I made this channel originally, which is why it's called Paul is bad at stuff and not Paul is bad at Warhammer, is that I was going to do it because I have a bunch of ideas. Like I've done like some game dev stuff. I tried to learn Blender, all these different things. I wanted to basically like go, here's my latest obsession. I'm going to make a video about it, and then at least I've got something out of it if I move on. Obviously, it kind of became a Warhammer thing. But I've got loads of things like that. And even on this channel, you've probably seen like, Hobby Bingo went nowhere. I can't even think of some of the other ones I did, but there's a few of those like ideas that just absolutely went nowhere. And this now becomes like showing that journey. For this day forth, if Paul loses a battle, I would commend that he has too many rabbits in his knees. Just had our son go ADHD scream, especially said that she'd never come across someone like him before. On some metrics, he doesn't even show up, but on others, he'd be classed as severe. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, again, there's so many metrics and so many things with ADHD that, like, it's, it's more well understood, but obviously that makes things more complicated, right? Do you think you'll look into more 2-day tournaments in the future? Absolutely, 100%. Pritters, I really enjoy myself. I'm definitely going to go to the South Coast Super Major next year, 100%, at least. I'm going to probably go to, like, places that are, like, slow to get further and further afield before kind of going, like, too deep. I don't know about a 3-day event, although I know I said that, after a 1-day event, I've said, I can't possibly do a 2-day event, and now after a 2-day event, I can't possibly do a 3-day event, but I probably couldn't do a 3-day event, let's be honest. No joke, I went and got diagnosed after 29 years of struggling with ADHD because I was spending my ability to play Warhammer well. I mean, there's the thing, right? Like, sometimes you find it in weird places, sometimes, you don't. I'm glad you got help. Any advice for learning to play 40k? I played other games with MTG, but having a look at the rules for 40k feels like nothing's in my brain. This is something I've actually been thinking about a lot. I feel like there needs to be, and I kind of feel like I want to make it, and again, this is one of those ideas that made it go nowhere. Essentially, a video game tutorialization for 40k. Like literally like a like just a like loads of scenarios, like missions you get at 40k that are literally just like, this mission, you have these units and you're going to learn how to move, and then you're going to learn how to shoot, and you're going to learn how to do the stats, and like very slowly build it up, and then go, now you're going to play Combat Patrol. Because the problem is at the moment is Combat Patrol is the first thing. It's already too fucking complicated for a new player, right? That's why I think Combat Patrol works best when you're playing with someone who already knows the game. But I feel like having some sort of like documents just like, you know, Paula's ballot stuff goes, wow, like, we're going to go crazy and just say this, right? Go to Beachhead and Bob. I think, yeah, a friend of mine went to Beachhead, said it was really good, so I'm probably going to do that as well. Chakoskia!
I'm not too late to throw money at you for more Centurions. Kikoskbiki.
Thank you very much for the 3 months of Prime. Thank you very much. 3 in a row. Average Jojo. Thank you for following over on Twitch as well. Heard Spearhead for is a little more brilliant friendly. Yeah, I made a video about that. how to improve Combat Patrol. Play Spearhead. What's your streaming rating list, playlist, songs, playing or painting? I actually, on the journey up to, or the journey to South Coast Super Major, both times, I was playing a lot of Pentakill and Dragon Force and Blind Guardian, and that's not just because I always listen to power metal. It's because I like power metal, right? I like power metal. Power metal is Screaming Ravens, and it's me. I love power metal. Like just the 40k, not the F-Zero X and F-Zero GX soundtrack is perfect. Love God, just one question: why are you bad at things? Because being bad at things is the first step to being good at things. Oh, speaking of yeah, because Lehman Russ pointed about Liam Dempsey. I think Ben Grudgehammer played against someone from Liam Dempsey's channel, and I was there. We chatted. I was like, oh yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah. So I met a couple of people from the Liam Dempsey place now. Think about tabletop strong tower cases. Do you use them for your squeaky beakers? Yes, they're very good. And I was saying earlier, I've carried all. Trey carries 18 Centurions. It's perfect. Or it starts that Space Marines for Centurions or something similar. Or only a few models and away from being a full combat control. Yeah, that's the thing. Like something like that would be really useful. And even just like, I think even breaking it down even smaller might be nice. Like in maybe like a video format. So I might look into doing something like that. Just bought an Assassin's Squad for my first 40k set, and I'm going to play Blood Angels. Hell yeah, good luck. Another way to obtain dozens of Centurions cheaper is called 3D printer. I don't really want a 3D printer. And also, I like the way the Centurions look. And also, it's a business expense now, I guess. Oh dear. Yeah, Joe Cat's crap guide to D&D series would work great. Yeah, that's the thing. Like something similar to that. Crap guide to the thing is with those, he actually knows what he's talking about. So I can't do like a crap guide to each a crap guide to Aldari because I don't know about Aldari. So is all fast music ADHD run? Love Dragon Sonata Arctica. I love Sonata Arctica as well. I think maybe I really just like upbeat fast things. Which is why I speak fast. It's the wolf from Pulp Fiction. I speak fast, act fast. Speaking of Wolf Error, thank you for following everyone on Twitch. What's the theme of the Dream Ravens? The one I listened to the most was probably Redemption by Pentakill, and also Astral Empire is pretty good by Dragon Force. What else? There's a few goals. A bunch of F-Zero X theme songs. Battlefield by Blind Guardian's really good as well. What's your modding nightmare? Me, it's basing. I think any time you have to have like 3 points of contact, or there's like 3 things you have to glue at once and try and keep it in place, it's difficult. Sir Reginald Colt, thank you for following and for the Prime. Thank you very much. I finally finished my firstborn Blade Guard Veterans. Hell yeah. Congratulations. It's nice when a project gets finished, right? Gonna use Dark Angels data sheets with the Vanguard Spearhead detachment. It's gonna be so tough shaving off any DA decorations on my lion. Good luck with that. Outside does a pretty good job in part of the game as well. Yeah, that's it. Looking into stuff like that would be good. Is there a point at which your channel name becomes Paul is okay things? Probably not. I think I like the Paul is bad at stuff. Like, again, changing the channel name feels like it's a big thing, right? I'll probably won't change your channel name. Paul may well get better at Warhammer. But here's the thing, and I think people know this a lot. You know, it's like kind of that bell curve. Once you get to a point of knowledge, you realize you know nothing, right? Like, I'm thinking about all these stuff. Oh, yeah, I can do this with Centurions. You know, I can try and get better. I'm going to get to the point where I'm actually doing quite well. Maybe going like 2-3, 3-2 at a tournament with Centurions and go, I know fuck all about this game. It's just, I'm really bad at this game. You know, it's that... I compare it to, like, Sorted Food, if you know that channel. It's a really funny cooking channel, which I highly recommend you watch. They have the chefs and the home cooks, or, you know, the normals. Those normals are not normal, right? They're very good cooks. You know, they do a lot of cooking. They've done cooking for many, many years. They are much, much better. You know, they're probably top 1%, even 0.1% of all the people who like cook. The problem is chefs are so much beyond that, like, again, to take it somewhere like a video game, like a challenger player in League of Legends, like the top challenger players or like grandmasters are very good, and then the pro players are just that one step ahead, like so far ahead. Ben Jones for 40k, for example, I reckon at some point I could be really good if I keep playing, you know. But there's a point where it goes from, you know, climbing up the ranks again to that 4-1, 5-0 stage, and then it's the big jump to the pro, you know, maybe 3-2, 4-1, not 5-0, but it's doing that, and then it's the big jump to someone like, you know, the Ben Joneses of the world, right? So one of those things, right?
I woke up with stomach pain, nearly vomit-inducing breath, and had to take a shit. Curse you, Nurgle. Appreciate the ADHD chat.
Thank you for your medical update. Hope you're feeling better soon, man. Oh yeah, it does. It sucks when you like wake up with just like and feeling shit. But hey, hope you're feeling better. And thank you for the super chat. Very, very kind of you once again. Amir, I keep pronouncing your name differently every time. I'm so sorry. Amir, I think. I'll get it right eventually. Did you try rolling all sixes? I tried. I did on some charges. And I did on some saves as well. There was a couple of times where I got some really good saves. I just found out the South Coast Major was a 10-minute walk from my home. If I knew that, I would have gone to my first one. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, it's not far from me. I think it's the same time next year. So now you know about it. Next March, you should go. What's your final handling tournament? Because I missed that. I think I went 1 win and 4 losses. I keep saying 1-4, but it sounds like I'm saying I won 4. But I went 1 loss for 1 win, 4 losses. Warhammer is a game of primary and secondary points, not killing. That is that is quite true. The game that I won, and the game I won, I did kill more stuff. In game 4, I had killed more stuff than him. I had a lot more on the table, but he had run away with the score by that point. That was the problem. He had just tactically outmaneuvered me. And in game 5, similar situation. Like there weren't many things on the board towards the end of the game. I had quite a lot of stuff left, but he just outmaneuvered me. But what I did at least appreciate on the second day is I did lose both games, but they were actually both competitive games. My losses in the first day were both blowouts. Obviously, Ben Jones is never gonna, he's gonna look at a scrub like me and go, I'm wiping the floor with this kid. We might be the same age. I might be older than him. I don't know. And my third opponent, again, he's someone who goes. I think my third opponent ended up in top like 50 or something. He did very, very well. Again, he's from a team, Adam, and he went on and did really well. He was just like, again, third games, he was just like, I want to go home early. I'm just gonna throw my 8-pounder at this guy, and he's gonna fall over and die. I was like, fair enough. But I get my 1 win against Eldari, so I got the revenge, and he was Aspect Host as well. So I got my revenge against Aspect Host against Jared. That was again a very close game. That was a last turn. He'd made a critical mistake, which I managed to capitalize on, and turned the game in the last turn. But again, really fun game, really nice guy. He gave me cream egg, which I then gave to the woman, as we are now going to call her, because it was. I know. I can't remember who it was, but I know you felt bad about saying. I think my fiancée Jo, she was chatting in the background, so I was like, oh, the woman came from your stream, and we both had a really good laugh about that. So I'm now going to just refer to her as the woman. I gave my cream egg to the woman, which sounds now really wrong, but don't read into it. Yeah. No. Some of those losses are close. They might have been well-be draws. Yeah, that's like my last game, I think, is the one. That's the one that I think I regret the most. Not regret. I still had a really good time, but I know I could have played better. But it was like, I think that was the point where it's like fatigue is set in. Because he was playing World Eater, I think he was actually kind of playing like a World Eater, like, Gambit, because he's playing so fast and going through his turn so fast. I didn't have time to think as much. I was like, if the game was gone slower, I could have had a bit more time to think. But I was like, I was trying to match his pace. And I think that was the mistake. I think the World Eaters are a fast army, and if you play it fast, you can actually put your opponent like off kilter like that. Not that I think he was doing it like on purpose. I think he was just playing fast. I was kind of like just matching his pace and getting myself off kilter. I don't think he was like he wasn't like pressuring me into going faster or anything. He was like, hurry up, Paul, hurry up, Paul. He was just like, he was playing fast, and I was just like, too much thinking, like, but and again, because I spoke to him, I was like, asked him like, do you go to many events? He goes to like one a month. He goes to loads of events, so obviously he knows what he's doing, and I can't keep that pace, so I will kind of stumble and make mistakes. But I almost got him. I didn't manage to play Archie though. Obviously I spoke to Archie. No revenge against Archie just yet. Hopefully next time. I need to get into I think both Archie and Ben Grudgehammer, I think they both ended 3-2 in the end. I need to get into those brackets to be able to actually have a chance to revenge. Ben from Grudgehammer actually has a really cool thing. He actually gives out physical grudge tokens to anyone who beats him. So very coveted, very coveted. So if I want one, I've decided like the things I want to do now. I want, Ben, if you're listening, I'm coming for you, and I want one of them goddamn tokens. I want to be on the grudge list. Yeah, our nemesis persists. Yeah, apparently, Steve. Apparently, they travel out together, so they know each other. I think they live very near each other, and they play games all the time. Apparently, after when I uploaded the video, he sent that section of me saying that we're his he's our nemesis. He sent that to Archie. It was very funny. But you didn't use my advice to beat the pro player. Your tummy was so empty of dice. True, yeah. I feel. The thing is, he was such a nice guy. I'd feel bad to just kind of eating his army. It'd feel a bit, he went on to win, but imagine like the person who was going to come first, like didn't get to win because the first opponent he played against was this weirdo who ate all his dice and his models and him, maybe. Yeah, the moments where you don't order your weapon profiles, just flow the stat price odds. Yeah, that's the thing. And because of what he's played, he was like, I don't have a shooting phase, I just have fight phase, and it's like all 8 bound. So it's like he's just rolling the same dice, right? Feel bad to it anyway. This is easier. Well, let's use your next game against Ben. But eventually, I'll beat him. That's the thing. Eventually, and whatever. No one says that I lost to Grudgehammer Ben, 12 times in a row or something. It might be even more than that. Because he is a relatively good player. I do that with my Unicorn Rainbow Rippers. Roman is everyone gets a Ripper base. Oh yeah, I think I heard about. I think you've been to Temple Tactics. I think my first time I went there, I think someone was mentioning that someone was handing out Rainbow Ripper bases, which is really cool. That's a really good idea. I think at some point, if I do start getting some merch, I might like have a thing that I give to players that I play against. Because I do think that's cool. Like I said, Ben Jones gave me one of the Vanguard Tactics dice, which I then started using for my CP counter. It's just a nice little community thing. Ben from Grudgehammer Wargaming was giving out stickers and stuff. Like it's just a nice thing to give out to people. And that I think is part of like that nice community thing. What I've done with my Salaman design now, just to find find a spot where I can play with other people. Nice. Hell yeah! Good luck with finding people. Because that's the other thing. Going to the tournament, I found I'll send Brett turns out it's actually quite local to me, so that's another person I can play games with. But he went 4-1, so he's probably gonna kick my ass. But all these things you finding people you learn, again, and not to link it back to obviously it's still part of that corporate, I worked for a corporation, there's still part of that brain in my head going this is networking, but it's not outside of a business. It's not called networking, it's called making friends. That's the thing, right? But I just think of it, because this is now my job, I'm like, oh, it's networking. No, it's not. I'm meeting people and having a good time. Like, this is not the same thing. Much has to be death whistles shaped into a raven. That's a very funny idea. If I gave something for every loss, I might be bankrupt. It doesn't have to be big, right? Unless you're giving out like £20 notes every loss, I mean, maybe you'll go bankrupt. What are your thoughts on Vindicators? I love that they are just Rhino with a big cannon. They're one of those ones which they're cool in like that retro way, but I'm not a big fan of them myself. I think they're fine. I do kind of like them, but Centurions are my dream. Paul, don't abbreviate command point. Command points is so long to say. I think most people at this point have the context. I don't think that's really been used for that for a long time, and I think it's easier just to ignore that entire thing and just be able to say the letters C and P next to each other without having to worry about that kind of thing. I get it though. It is like it's one of those things, but so many things are C points, right? Command points, Cabal points. I think those are the other two. That's two. That is two. More than zero. Thoughts on setting a look of group TTS group on Discord? I mean, I guess if you could just chat in 40k. I don't think it needs a separate channel. You could just be like, hey, I want to play a game of TTS. Just obviously with the caveat that it has nothing to do with me. If you have any problems with your player, you have to deal with it between yourselves. Don't come to me and be like, oh, this person was mean to me. It's like, that's a whole separate thing. There's also the Tabletop Simulator Discord themselves. You could probably find a bunch of games there. Not a fan of Vindicator's friendship ended. I'm so sorry. Toys aren't really my thing because I've been refused using third-party 3D printed armies before. I mean, I guess it really depends, right? How because I don't know if you saw like the one I showed earlier, right? There was a like, I'm gonna find it now. Like this. This was at the tournament. Like, I don't know if this is 3D printed or it's third party or whatever the fuck this is, but this was allowed and it's fucking cool. So, like, I don't know. And I apologize for people who have just joined who got the sudden flashbang of the most horrifying thing you've ever seen. But holy shit, that was good. I loved that. It just shows off the creativity of some people, right? That was a knight army, by the way. That was, I guess some sort of Zechian knight army. Would you get a Land Raider? I don't think I need a Land Raider. I think because I've got no, not Redemptors. Butter roasted salted nuts. Delicious. Thank you for following. Yeah, I think the repulsors are kind of filling that gap. I don't think I need a Land Raider. They're cool, but I don't need another big tank right now. Again, never say never. Can we get a content warning before you do that shit, please? Yeah, content warning, horror is about to appear. Also, just having that picture in my back pocket is gonna be so nice. If people start getting like a bit too rowdy, you're like, all right, everyone, calm down. Here's some nightmare fuel. Get people off whatever the fuck you were talking about. Beans on the Space Marine ATV rules wise, I kind of like it. I think it's kind of cool. I haven't got a fast melter. Jokes on you, into that shit. I play Tau with Piper Makes? I don't know what that is. Let me look it up. Oh, like 3D printing stuff, that's what it. Well, I mean, the second model down, like, I think I can see why people might not want to play that one. I mean, the rest of them are pretty cool. I think so, some of it may look a little bit too... Like, that one looks fine. That looks Towish. I guess it's just, like, around where you are, I guess it might be different, but most of the, like, pretty much all these models I'd be fine playing against. I don't know. But, I mean, the second one down on this website, it was like, oh, yeah, that one maybe not. stream turned into the dog speaker supposed to be. Yeah, just get the vacuum line. Like, everyone just go crazy. I mean, to be fair, like Grudgehammer Ben. I think basically the reason I was over there and I spoke to Brett in the end was I went over there like after my game had finished, game 5, just to see how he was getting on. He was like, oh, I'm losing. But then I looked, and the World Eaters was playing a Seraphon World Eaters. He had Croxigors as 8-bound, and I was like, that's fucking cool. And I went back towards the end, like a couple of minutes left, and he was just backing up, and I chatted to the guy about his army, and then the table next was where Brett was, where he just won, so I chatted to him as well. And then it was quite funny, because I was like, he was like, oh, how did you do? I went, oh, you know, I had 18 Centurions, didn't do well. He went, Paul? So, like, that was quite funny. But yeah, that's the thing, like, yeah, the you know, World Eaters with Lizard Men. I think, like, I might be making this up, but I think it was like, I think Skinks, or it was either Skinks were, there was something that was like the cultist dudes. I think they might have been Skinks. I might be wrong about that. But the Croxigors were definitely being used as 8-bound, and that's cool. I think it had like a guy on a Stegagon as maybe one of the either I think it might have been a Forge Fiend or a Mauler Fiend or something. He had a bunch of like regular World Eater stuff, but then he had a bunch of like using Seraphon Lizard Men as World Eaters, which is really cool. Tiny Lizard is a wizard. What's your fave Chaos faction? Thousand Suns. Although, well, having played against 2 World Eaters now, World Eaters are pretty cool. Oh, someone I saw, I think he was playing... Oh, it might be... Actually, yeah, because I think Ben's played World Eaters twice. Ben's first World Eaters opponent had a 3D printed thing to track the... You roll the 8 dice and you get buffs, right? So he had one of those in like the shape of the corn thing with the gaps, and he could basically like fill them into like, oh, you need these things to fill in, and he could fill them in that way. That is an amazing bit of kit. Really, really cool. Could I get away with playing orcs as well this time? I mean, against me, sure. I mean, do it. I'd love to make Space Skaven for an orc army. There was the chat had the Space Skaven was partly Space Skaven for Night Lords. Like the Obliterators were Rat Ogres, or they were Storm Fiends, and then there was like the Mauler Fiend was a Pit Abomination, which is quite funny. Screaming Skaven, exactly. But yeah, like Cheese Stealer Cults is a classic one, like Gene Stealer Cults for Skaven. So yeah, Cheese Stealer Cults. I just called it for a Salamander model where a Salamander Space Marine mounts one of the Salamander lizards from Nocturne. Oh, that sounds cool. Oh, someone also one of the armies had someone had used Centurion parts to make a character. So I need to look at that picture and see what they did. Because it looked really cool. I think it used base parts from one of the Chaos characters, and then like, kind of had some parts on top, which is really cool. Was Skaven as grots for my orcs? Yeah, sounds awesome. I love your use of both Terraria and Dark Souls music. I do feel like Ace of Centurions are equal to the Watchers of the Year. Thank you. Here's the thing, like Terraria music is actually really, really good for the background music. But also, I do kind of put it in because people point it out in the comments and it's funny to me. And every so often I'll put a new one. Like I put a Jet Force Gemini song in, and then now that one's started to be mentioned. So I'm like, oh, I'll keep doing that. Golden Sun is another one. I'll keep putting these songs in because they do really well. You know, they do work really well for the video, but also people call them out. So, can you use 30k units in tournaments? Oh, absolutely. I mean, like not the rules, obviously, but you can use the models. Like I say, like the tournament I went to, low. I think again, it's going to be tournament by tournament basis. UKTC, I think their thing is like basically, you know, don't be an idiot with it. Like, if you really, like, we're not going to go through and check every single one, but if you really have a question, come and ask us. But, like, if it's the right base size and it looks similar and it's easy to identify, go for it. So it's like, you know, again, Croxigors as 8-bound. They're about the same size. If you just said, those Crocs are 8-bound, you go, cool, that makes sense. When you go, those Crocs are 8-bound, those Croxigors are Chaos Spawn, those Croxigors are this, that, and the other, yeah, well, then there's a problem, right? That's the level, right? Like, my Vanguard vets aren't Vanguard vets, they are Assault Intercessors with a bunch of parts, and no one had a problem with it. My Shrike is a 3D printed model. Actually, going back to that, my Shrike is a completely 3D printed third-party model. No one had any problem with it. My Tech Marine that Steve made is made out of the Iron Hands guy and a jetpack. You know, it's all mostly fine as long as he's not taking the piss, basically. I'm wondering if you use their data, a full 30k unit. No, you can't use the data sheet for a 30k unit and a 40k, no. Unless they have a 40k data sheet, like, I guess then it'll be Legends and then something else. I guess I missed the bulk of the stream. How'd the tournament go? I went 1 win, 4 losses, but had a really good time. I guess go watch the VOD when it's finished if you want to learn more. But yeah, essentially I had a really good time. I will say though, actually, at the tournament, Tech Marine wasn't pointed out that much. I got a compliment on my Shrike model, which is good. A lot of people enjoyed the Centurions. Someone did go, "Wow, does that Tech Marine have a jetpack? That's cool." But I didn't get as much Steve Smonkness fuel this time, which is quite nice. Yeah, I went 1-4. So the first day I went 1 win, 2 losses. My 2 losses were absolute smashes. But I am at least happy, like, the next 2 losses were at least close. Similar with the Tabletop Tactics one, where my first loss against Ben from Grudge Hammer was, it was pretty bad, but it was definitely not terrible. Like, I think I could have done better, but it was like 61 to 90 something, so it wasn't terrible. I got enough of my points. Second game was a complete smash. In fact, Mark's Tiny Boy beat me just as hard as Ben Jones did. Exactly the same score, 36 to 100. And then my third game against Raziel, as we know, was down to the wire, right? And I do much prefer it when games are close, and I was so happy that both of my second day's losses were both close and actually competitive games. They were really fun. Thank you for the
Any advice
£2.
when you don't click with an army?
Depends how you're meaning, right? Is it don't click in terms of like playing it, or don't click in terms of like painting and building it? If it's painting a building, I guess just stop. Right? Like, just unless you've already painted and built it, in which case just don't get rid of it. That's I think a lot of people will say if you ever sell an army, you're gonna regret it. I can definitely feel that. If it's about playing, rules come around, right? I think it's one of those things where if you're not clicking with an army, you know, put it to one side, right? Like, you know, if you've already painted, built it, you've put love into it, put it to one side, things will come around. If you've just started like building it up and you've got boxes and you haven't started painting it, you can probably get rid of those, like, you know, if you're not clicking, come back to another time and try something else. Like, for example, like with the Thousand Suns and the Drukari, right? Like, I haven't played them pretty much at all in 10th, basically. Because I'll be focused on the Screaming Ravens, and they've kind of gone through these up and downs of different things. I've not really had a chance to play them, but, you know, I'll get back around to them eventually, I think. I think, especially with 10th, I think when their books come out, that'll be a chance to get back into it. But I'm just having so much fun with the Screaming Ravens. I'm so much fun with Centurions, and that's kind of in my focus. Want to make a Night Lord's army for Chaos? First version, the books are great. Yeah, Night Lords are very popular and very cool. Usually better to lose by close one and win by land. So that's the thing, right? Like, I do kind of feel bad. I don't know if maybe, like, you know, yeah, the Ben Jones or the Adam, I can't remember his surname, but Adam in my third game. I don't know. Or again, like Mark's Tiny Boy, who I played in a tabletop. I don't know how they feel about having a game be so easy for them. Like, I don't know if Ben Jones was like, well, that first game was kind of pointless. Like, maybe he did think that. Maybe he was like, oh, I still had a fun time, but like, this game wasn't exactly this game wasn't exactly that much to do. But then maybe Ben Jones thinks about it every game because he's just so good. But, you know, which is why I kind of try and at least have some fun. Again, like, okay, it's this is a weird like anxiety thing, right? Like it's you know, I go say, hey, I had a really good game, and that was a really fun game, and I mean it, and then I assume the other person means, but there's also part of me that goes, are they just being polite, or did they actually have a good time? But that's just Paul being weird and anxious. I feel like maybe maybe for them, again, it might be one of those things where, because I think basically, apart from Jared, I think every person I played has played a lot. You know, 2 guys from Vanguard Tactics, and then the 2 World Eaters players. You know, they say they go to, you know, one's for a team, one goes to loads of events. So maybe for them, it's just like it's a, you know, for them it's you know, the day that M. Bison graced your town was the best day of your life. For me, it was a Tuesday. Maybe that's the thing. Like I'm going, oh, this is really fun. I had a really good time. These games are all memorable. And they're like, yeah, it's just another tournament against this weird guy with 80 Centurions. I had a good time, but I'm not going to remember it. And that's absolutely fine. But it's one of those things where I was like, when I'm not really putting up a fight, is that kind of just like annoying to them? I don't know. But also, it's not exactly, you know, what's going to make it a weird interaction if I go, did you actually enjoy the game? Were you being polite? Sorry, you know. So, you know, you're just going to have to take it at face value, not overthink it. But also, human thoughts. Weirdness in it. But like I say, I had a really good time, and at the end, that doesn't really matter. This is the thing, like, whether they had a good time or not doesn't really matter, because I had a good time. Also, I don't think I said thank you to Scrapbox for following over on Twitch. Thank you very much. Always question people when they're nice to you. They won't do it again. Yeah, that's the thing. Embrace unconsciousness. Exactly, right? Chill out, test done, army evaluation done, now it's time to paint. Hell yeah. If Scream Raven and a Night Lord were in a circle surrounded by Alpha Legion forces to rap battle, who would win? But I guess not the Screaming Ravens, because they're too loud and they speak in sign language. I don't know. As an enfranchised tourney player, I'm never upset by someone who is newer to play figuring stuff out. I think that's the other thing. Like, because I did say to Ben Dress, like, this is my first 2-day event, like one of my first big tournaments. And again, like I say, he was really, really nice, like really, really friendly player. And again, he came up to me like at the end of my game 5, which had a brief chat as well. Like, all the respect in the world to Ben. What's painting levels? Very varied painting levels, right? I won't show it again because it's horrifying, but stuff like the horror that I've shown on a couple of times of this stream, and some of the yeah, because there was like a table with all of the like the ones for best painted. So many amazing paint jobs, and then there's some people who just kind of go with very simple stuff or very quick stuff because they're just there to play. But I didn't see, like, looking around all the tables, I didn't see anywhere I was just like, you know, they've just like chucked that in a bucket of paint. Like, everything was still really good. Like, in terms of like, again, like I said earlier, having an entire army together that looks cohesive will make all of the individual parts look better. And again, don't look too closely at them. Like, if you look at them far away, then they look great. If you're going to go through every single model, like, right up to your face and like try and like look at all the details, you're going to see problems. But again, this is why just having an army painted and, you know, cohesively together looks good. It's regardless of your skill level, regardless of how much effort you put into it. But there are some stuff that was like above and beyond amazing. I think most tourney players love having new players in the door who are excited about toy soldiers want to play. That's good to hear. I think that is kind of what I've kind of got the vibe from. I think there are probably a couple of people who are, I think especially I'm not saying Adam was like this, but I'm saying like on the first day on game 3. Even though you're like, you know, hey, it's my first time. It's like, we're both tired. It's late, so we're just trying to get through the game. So, you know, it's a tiring thing, but it's still a fun game. It's still a good time. And then, like I said, next day, after some sleep, we had a bit more of a chat, and he was a friend. He was a friendly guy during the game, friendly guy after the game. But there was definitely, you could definitely feel the energy in the room diminishing by game 3 on the first day. And I think that's fairly standard, right? Because we've been playing for 6-7 hours. But the difference, I think, with something like Tabletop Tactics, where my third game will be really good, because that is the last game. So you're like, oh, it's the last game. Let's, you know, yeah, that's, you know, second win for the last game. When at a 2-day event, you go, it's the last game of day 1. So let's just get through this and then get ready for tomorrow. So yeah, it's the different vibe. Not a bad vibe. I think it's just like You could definitely feel the energy tilting, not into a bad way, just into like a... I think the thing is everyone's on the same page in that situation. No one's like aggressively like hyper energized, right? Like everyone's tired, because if you're not tired, then you've got like, you know, you're probably on drugs. Let's be honest. So at least like everyone's kind of like, yeah, you know, still friendly, just like, yeah, we'll get it done. Yeah. And then like, I don't know. I might be explaining it wrong. I might be sounding really bad, but yeah. When are you going to paint yourself with Citadel paints? I don't know. I probably get paint on myself every time I paint, at least a little bit. But like, after doing my first ICT, which was 1 day 3 games, I was exhausted mentally. Couldn't imagine doing 2 day 5 game tournament. That's the thing, Crimson, that I felt as well. And then 3 days later, signed up to a 2 day event. I think the thing is, I will say, after the first day, I got home, I was very hungry, had some food, and then I was full, and then I absolutely crashed. Like, it was about 9:30, and I was like, I could barely think, I could barely speak, I was tired, I was kind of, you know, grumpy, I was like, I just want to go to sleep. Starting to get a headache, I was like, this is bad, but I woke up and I was fine. And I think that's the thing, I think the pacing for a 2 day event is slightly different, but I also think that the energy in the room helps facilitate that, because at a 1 day game, like I say, the third game's the last game, so people kind of use that as like the second win to like push to the finish line. When in a 2 day event, at least, you know, I've only been to one, but from what I kind of experienced, people were like, got a third game, have some fun, but we've got another day of this, so let's not put everything out there, right? So I think that's kind of that thing. The round is also, if I so many round throughs to opponents, I just realize like our brains are leaking out through us. Let's just do the best to make it through. Yeah, that's exactly the thing. Runes are right, Rick. Like, it is very much because everyone is experiencing it. You don't feel like you're alone, and you kind of play off your opponent a little bit in that case. What's wrong with any creative endeavor, especially painting models, is that I can only look at the mistakes when my friends and others only see the model. Yeah, that 100% games like that is like one of those things where I look at a model because I've done it and I've seen it and I've been looking at it for hours and hours, or you know, however long. I can see all the mistakes, but someone who hasn't seen it can just look at it with fresh eyes. And that's why I think one thing to do is, like, once you finish a project, put it down and don't look at it for like 2-3 days, and then look at it again and go, can I remember the mistakes? And maybe you can remember a couple, but it will get worse, like less and less and less. And eventually, and again, when you put it with an entire army, those mistakes get covered up by the surroundings. So, but it is a difficult hurdle to get over, right? Which is why actually I think building and painting the models I need to do for the tournament in a week was actually really good, because it meant I wasn't so precious about those things. I kind of just put paint down, and actually they came out quite nicely, I think. Again, if you look at them closely, there's probably a bunch of mistakes, but yeah.
Hey Paul, any hopes for the Xan's Codex?
I'd love a Psychic Dread. Thank you for the £2 though. Thank you very much. I'd love some sort of like Dreadnought, Psychic Dreadnought character or a thing. That'd be fun. If GW loves Centurions, like the rumored drop pods for 11th, what would you see as a replacement? Centurions, because GW will get me some Centurions. They will, one way or another. If you're watching Games Workshop, and I know you probably aren't, but you know you might be. If your current plans, if your timeline, I know you plan stuff far ahead. If your current timeline says we're gonna Legends Centurions and not replace them in 11th, cross that out of your plans, and write a big asterisk there, and then put a big asterisk going, we'll make new Centurions, and they won't go to Legends, or else. So just, you know, I'm just saying. You know, I'm just saying. What about doing my minis directly in 3 different pots just to cause psychological warfare? To be fair, if it's something like, you could probably come up with a weird demons list. That's the thing with demons, right? They like I saw there was a proxy demons army that I saw, which was all like just geometric shapes. Like, that's so cool. Like, such a weird like Easter egg thing. If you just had like weird shapes that were just weird colors, like, it might work. if you're painting a lot of moles, it helps take a shot or two of whiskey. True. Just get drunker and drunker so your standards slip. That's the thing. It's like with the I was thinking like, oh, you know what I'll do is I'll get these to the point where I'm happy with them with these Centurions, and after the tournament I'll go back to them. Like, I'm not going to bother. They look fine. And the amount of time I would have to put into adding small bits is not worth it at this point. They look fine. I'm happy with how they look. They look really nice with the rest of the army. They look fine far away. I don't need to look at them close anymore. So I don't need to go back and spend more hours. I can move on to something else. I think that is maybe something to kind of take forward. But I try random things when painting longer sessions to keep the ADHD monkey at bay. That's the other thing, right? Like sometimes I will go, let me just try this and go down a rabbit hole where I'm not actually doing anything. Would new scents look like double the size? They'd be double wide. They just get wider, not taller. Melee Centurion? A Melee Centurion that could blend to infantry would be good. Like, just an Assault Centurion instead of the Siege Drills. Or maybe just give the Siege Drills a sweep profile. That'd be fun. You are essentially besides armor, just hell yeah, that'd be great. Gonna make an Evangelion Angel-based Chaos Army? There you go. Excellent idea. Getting drunk is also a great way to enjoy day 1, round 3. Oh dear. We want to set a repainting each mini as practice for this. Exactly, that's the thing. Like you learn more by doing more different things. Maybe you just want to take a shot. Oh dearie me, no, that'd go horribly. Paul does not endorse, catastrophic levels of drinking. Let's just get that out there. Paul doesn't drink anyway. Get in the night. Paul doesn't drink not because of any moral thing. It's because of my medication. But I haven't had alcohol in like 5 years now. Jesus. But if you want to drink, go ahead. But obviously, be careful. Drink responsibly. Blah blah blah. Don't drink and drive. You know this stuff. You're smart people, I assume. Paul don't drink Citadel paints. Exactly. I only drink null oil because it gives me the buzz I need to get through the day. Do not drink paint. For the love of God, that was a joke. So I really like this hammer fort and servo turrets. Anyone seen one in the wild at a tournament? Someone actually, I think, there was a list with servo turrets in recently that do really well. Did you check the Discord? I sent my latest Spyrosaurus in the Paint Jam 3 discussion that literally came out because I got bored and wanted to try something new.
Paul, if you could make a Centurion unit or character, what would it be? _soy : soy : soy : soy : soy : yes.
Yes. _soy : soy : soy : soy. Saucer. That's it. _soy : is a tongue twister. Anyway, so my Centurion character is I've had a video about this, about my chapter master. It's probably the one I'm going to go with. Is the one that kind of it's the one that turns into a jump character when Centurion armor dies. So you basically you dispose the Centurion armor, it blows up as like a bomb, and then you jump out into deep strike. Centurion unit, I've got an idea for a basically that it's a Centurion meteor squad. They have 0 movement, but they can deep strike in really close, get a really good charge, hit one thing, and then they just stand still and become like a gun turret line. I don't think you can even pick them back up. I think they just come down. They're just like what? They're just a big hammer that comes down and causes a massive distraction that has to be dealt with, which I think would be fun. Like basically, they come down, hit something really hard. Like they get loads of bonuses to charge. If they don't kill the thing that they hit, they're stuffed because they're probably going to lose loads of bonuses for not charging. But when they're not charged, and then they just have like indirect missiles or something, they're just firing stuff out of nowhere at you. Something stupid like that. That's my plan. Again, not fully realized yet, but that'll probably be in the supplement. Never been to a tournament because I like my models grey. Still would be afraid of how the rules are laid out most of the time. Like, is it more competitive or bad faith or all in all friendly? It's all very, very friendly. Ben Jones, the person who won the tournament, helped me get more points than I should have done. Because I CP rerolled at my round 4. I was like, I don't think I can get... I think it was overwhelming for. I was like, taking people off objectives. I'm no way I'm getting that. I'll CP reroll it. And I got assassinated. He went, no. I'll take that back. Like, you can get this. If you move him over here, you could definitely kill this truck, and then you'll get both behind... I think it was behind enemy lines, and you can get both of those. So you can get both of them. I was like, thank you. So he again... I'm sure people have had experiences where people have been very much like, win at all costs, that kind of thing, and had some bad experiences. I'm not saying that they won't happen, They haven't happened to me, and every opponent I've played against, especially the ones who have been to a lot of places, have helped me with what to do. And they've explained what they're doing, and I've spoken to them after the game, and they've said, this was my plan. Like, here's what you could have done. Or, like, after game 3, Adam was like, no, he was just like, you just got screwed. Like, you had just a horrible matchup on, like, basically, this was your worst matchup. I want to hem you in immediately. You don't like being hemmed in. We're playing 4, it was a 4 no man's land take and hold. You were gonna struggle with this game, especially because especially because I'm new, right? Like, this was a horrible matchup for you. And I was like, that's fair enough. But you gave some advice the next day, like I was saying, because I was saying like, what would you do? It's like, yeah, you could have, maybe like moved out a bit more, like, if you'd stayed back, like, And again, in my last game against World Eaters, I was like, he was like, if you stayed back, I would have just like done this. If you had gone too far forward, I would have done this. And he was like, you actually kind of went, halfway, which annoyed me because I couldn't do what I wanted. Which was good. It meant I've learned something. But Ben Jones was like, because I said like clearly, I was like, you've got a lot of stuff. Maybe I should start some more stuff in reserves. He was like, no, do not do that. If you start stuff in reserves, I would have just made it so you couldn't put anything on the board. You would have lost like by default because everything would have died. I was like, oh Jesus Christ, okay. Just like And again, I'm sure there are people who've had bad experience, but everyone I played against was super nice. Everyone was super helpful. Like really, just wanted to play a good game because I think people want to play a competitive game, and so they're gonna be helpful and they're gonna help you do things. So I played Blood Angels. 6 Death Company Brutalis through regular Brutalis. Centurions. Do I need to run full 11 with Set Marine? Just run full 11, man. If you're gonna go that far, I was speaking to Archie about this because Archie ran 4 Dawns at the Table of Tactics. He brought 3 this time. And we were basically saying like, yeah, it's either 3 or 6. Like, there's no middle ground. So if you're going to take like 6 Brutalises, you might as well take 11 Dreadnoughts. Oh, that back in 7th or 8th tournaments used to be more cutthroat. I think so. I think because 9th and 10th have drawn a lot more players in. I think at the ceremony, the guy was saying that this South Coast Super Major was twice as big as last year. So, probably a lot of new people, right? So I think that's possibly why it's gone that way. I think people are being more friendly. My experience in my country, majority of games are quite friendly, collaborative, even while being competitive. Yeah, there's always going to be a few bad acts. And again, like I say, though the negativity you get from some of those people is going to affect your perception. Like, and the thing is, right, think about it this way. You're probably going to have a bad game at some point. But if you have a bad game after you've been to 20 tournaments or 10 tournaments or 5 tournaments, you're probably like, oh, that sucked, but I've had a lot of good times. It's not going to affect me. If you have a bad game in your first tournament, especially maybe if it's even your first game, that's going to play into your mind for the rest of that tournament, and that's going to ruin that entire first tournament, and that's going to ruin everything for you, right? So if you go to tournaments regularly, and I imagine that the majority, pretty much everyone here who goes to tournaments a lot, probably going to be really nice people, right? But if you're someone who starts going to tournaments and then you start going to more tournaments because off the back of that, be cognizant of the fact that, other people are going to be learning and you should get them involved. Remember what it's like. It's the classic thing of like a learner driver, right? Everyone remembers being a learner driver, but then you see a learner driver on the road and you're like, fuck this guy. They're going slow, they're in my way, they're trying to do a maneuver and they're shit at it, get out of my fucking way. But we were all a learner driver once, so a bit of fucking patience. And, it's not like I am, I'm not guilty. I am guilty of sometimes being like, oh, for fuck's sake, we're behind a fucking learner driver. But we were all learner drivers at some point. We all learned Warhammer at some point, so, But then some people are just arseholes. It doesn't matter if you're a learner driver or not a learner driver. Some people are just arseholes when they drive. And some people are just going to be arseholes when they play Warhammer, right? So you might get unlucky, but the majority of the time... And again, like, learning to drive versus learning Warhammer is very different things. Like, helping someone learn to play Warhammer is a lot different to being behind a learner driver on the road because you can't help them. So the metaphor kind of falls apart, but you understand what I'm trying to say, right? You don't normally stream this soon? I've been very on and off in the weekday streams. or the daytime streams. When I stream in the daytime, it would usually be around this time. But yeah. That question was ages ago. I apologize. I do enjoy the tournament. Currently pushing to finish my Chaos Knights for painting competition. Hell yeah. Sorry, there's probably a lot of chat here. Purchase to 40k no matter what. I want to have fun. I don't care if I win or lose. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I had a lot of fun every game, and I'm glad I had a lot of fun. And part of that, I think, is the part. I think part of that is the funny. It's kind of the comedy of seeing 18 Centurions and having people's reaction to that. I think that's fine. And yeah, even the games I did lose quite badly, like, they were still fun. Like, I still had a good time. 90% of tournament players want to play against you and your army at your best, not against the mistakes you made after more players playing well. That is the thing, right? Like, you know, because I think, again, this goes back to the whole, like, everyone's kind of in this together, right? It definitely feels like you don't want to be, like... And again, like, I rolled that double 6 to charge the single jump magnetism. That felt bad, because I know how that feels, but it's also, like... It's one of those things where you both feel like, oh, I'm so... yeah, you know, when you see a bad roll, you go, oh, that sucks. You're not like, yes, you rolled bad. You're like, man, that really sucks, man. Like, people understand this stuff because they've played the games, they've been through all of it, right? Everyone's had that unfortunate timing, right? So home bad game is fun because I can learn. My last game was casual. I lost against Orcs. Blood Angels 53-43. But the deep striking really shouldn't be used against Horse. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, and again, having the opportunity to play against someone like Ben is really, really cool. Like, I shouldn't downplay the fact that I got to play against a legitimate pro player who won the whole tournament. Like, not many people get that opportunity. I'm in the hobby for more than 15 years, and the competitive scene in the hobby always looks scary from the outside, especially when you see the army list. That's the thing. And this is the other thing, right? With the army list thing, like... I played 2 World Eaters players. They both had very different army lists. And they both went off to do quite well. I think maybe 4-1 or... They both did well, right? And they're both players who play a lot. One guy had Angron, one guy didn't have Angron, one guy had Armigers, one guy didn't. Like, they were very different lists, played very differently. It's only really at the very, very top. Like, if you look at the top 4, it's like Orcs, Orcs, Orcs. Like, top 3 is all 3 Orcs. But once you're out of that, you're playing against a lot of variety. So... The list are cutthroat, but most tournament players aren't. But tournaments avoid the local shop. They brought component. I didn't because the terms and the goals play. Yeah. Doesn't mean everyone shows up to win every game. Lots of players show up to win best painted, compete, best sportsman, or play toy soldiers. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's like... There's 264 people there. Not every single person of those 264 is there to be like, I'm going to be the top. For various reasons. Some people just like to go and see how well they can do. And, like, my goal now is to go and see how well I can do with 18 Centurions. Right? That's it, yeah. Ivy, that's a good point. Like, rolling the 6 to explode, everyone wants everything to explode. It's funny when that happens. Even though I got a massively, like, it was huge. It was more damaging to me than to Bill and his World Eaters. But that explosion was funny. It's really good. And it's a story. This is the thing, like I was saying about the game where I lost by like a single wound, even though I lost. It's the story. It's fun to talk about this stuff. It's fun to be like, I made that 12-inch charge. That thing exploded, killed by Tech Marine. All this stuff. It's so fun, and that's what makes the game good. Even if, like, you know, people have problems with the rules, and, you know, the meta, and the balance, and blah, 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 blah. It's still fun, because it's just a fun game. Like, outside... Just from a high level, it's fun to play and it's fun to talk about this stuff. That's, you know, and that's, I think, what I want to get across is like at tournaments, it's just a lot of people who want to do that. So it's cool, right? Your bad play, that guys are the bad players. And this is the same, and this isn't just a Warhammer thing, it's the same with everything. They're the players who think they're better than they are, who took the meta list to try and win, but aren't good enough. And you see this in video games. Every time I've played something like League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, any shooter, the loudest player on the team who's whining constantly and moaning that no one's helping them, that, you know, oh, why is this person trolling? Why is this person feeding? They're the problem. They're the worst player on the team every single time, 100% of the time. It's never the person who's actually like, if you die in lane in League of Legends and someone starts blaming you and getting mad and start to troll, they're the problem. They're bad at the game. And they're blaming you because they're bad and they can't accept that. for whatever reason. And I imagine there's going to be Warhammer players that are the same, but obviously with Warhammer, it's a little different because online, on League of Legends, you can type your mum and there's no real consequence. But if you're in a room of 100, 200, 300 people and you just say, you start going off at the person across the table, the people that are next to you on the other two tables are probably going to be like, hey, shut the fuck up, man. Like, and also, it's, the person's face is there. There's at least some empathy for it. So, like, Oh, wait, that was a really long rant. I apologise. Maybe answer some more questions. I have a buddy who was bottom 10 players in the world last year, and he loves tournaments, shows up to compete for best mate and win best sports. Yeah, exactly. Like, I went to that tournament, went 1 win 4 losses. I've met Brett, Lewis, saw Ben again, saw Archie again. Met Ben Jones, one of the TOs was really nice, like all the players I played against. Met a bunch of people and had a great time, and would love to play with them again. So I've just met new people and had a great time. Was there any cosplayers? Did anyone play in cosplay? Someone was there in like a full like top and tails like purple suit with like a bow tie, which is very cool. Someone had a cowboy hat. Wow. Someone had a wizard's hat. Oh, I think the guy who has that horrific in like it is full of horror Knights list. I think he was wearing a wizard hat the whole tournament, which is very funny. He spent time just working on his army and finally started to win best painted versus some of the best painters in the area. Hell yeah. Did you set up your stream avatar yourself? Because I feel the need to steal Warhammer stick figure theme. I mean, I'm not the only. You can be a Warhammer stick figure. Go for it. This model was made on Izzy on Fiverr made this. A VTuber modeler. Like I went with them and went, hey, I want to do this, and they were like, that sounds funny, and they did it in like 4 days. I tried setting up my own. I had like a PNG one which only like reacts every like it reacts like to just the sound, so it's like 2 frames. And then I tried my own like actual VTuber model, like trying to do the ringing myself. It was a pain in the ass. Any Admech players? Quite a few actually. There was at least 2. In fact, there were 2 Admech players in the top 8. 2 Admech players went 5-0 and then had to play each other, which is really unfortunate. Like I said, the guy I met called Brett, who came 13th, I think, went 4-1. He was playing Admech. A lot of Admech players. And thank you for following as well. Loki the Fool. Last Thursday, I played Spearhead with a new player in Spearhead. We've been learning Thursday for 4K and AOS. Played an army of my friend. I got 600 ability twice. Oof. What's it feel when your factions do well? I love playing orcs. They've been my day one forever. Some people go, oh damn, another orc player. Yeah, that's the thing, right? It happened with Guard with the bridge. I think it's the bridgehead. I don't remember what it's called, right? Bridgehead something. But there were a lot of Guard players who just went with the standard combined arms and did fairly well. So you might get lucky as an orcs player that they just get rid of Dakka and then you can go back to being your regular orc self. But again, there was definitely being like, oh, yeah, everyone's playing more Dakka. But even Ben Jones was like, I don't like this list. It's so stupid. I don't play any 40k. I'm a Mezbug player. I just wanted to pop in and say I love your videos and drawings, play games. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I've got a friend of mine who's a big Mezbug fan. I've played 1 game of Mezbug. I think I need to play more before I kind of form my opinions on it because it's a weird one. There was a couple of things I was just like, about, but I definitely think I need a couple more games because I played it just before the new edition came out, so it might be different. I think it's something like I'd like to try doing someday. I have ADHD, anxiety, depression. I'm out of work. Maybe I could turn it into a hobby or something. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I did this, we're kind of at the same thing, right? And it's not like I own the Stickman, thing. Like loads of people. This model looks very similar. People point out it looks very similar to like Sun Inhabitants. It's similar to what's his name? Ice Cream Sandwich. Similar looking style. No one owns this thing. You can do what you want. And if I've inspired you to do it, that's even all the better, right? It's one of those things where it's like you think some people might be like, oh, they're trying to take on my gimmick, but encouraging more people to be creative and have an outlet for it is what this channel's about. So go for it. In fact, I'll be disappointed if you don't now. I'm gonna be very... No, I'm not gonna be upset. Don't worry. Do it if you want. I'm not gonna be like, no, you must do it now. No, do what you want. It's your life. I'm not your mum. As I say. Having played Ben in his Cursed Baby Nights list, I can honestly say he's a great lad and amazing to play against. I would love to play against him, JP. I mean, yeah, he was wearing a wizard hat, and his army is horrifying. I love it. If G20 does give vote down Centurion, I will. Just even shorter and even wider. How are you doing? I'm doing well, thank you. Holy, how are you? Can you explain the new Imperial Guard attachment? No, I don't know. There's a lot of like drop dudes. I don't remember what they're called, but yeah. Rest in peace, they murdered you. Yeah, that's the thing. They double nerfed it, right? They nerfed the unit and the thing, and they're probably going to do that Dakka, right? I wish we had an LGS around here where I live. There was tempted to open one, but personal drama kind of split the pretty small community. Yeah, that's the problem with those kind of things. Like, being in the UK, obviously, it's, you know, Warhammer's very popular here. It's also, everything's like, compared to like America, everything's pretty close. You know, you can go from one side of the country to the other, and you won't get across some states. So, like, a lot of these people, you know, there's a community that builds up. Then a lot of people are getting into the game, so it's like, you know. And I think Scary pointed out in his video, because he went to the Manchester UKTC. He pointed out that everyone kind of has their own groups, right? That everyone has their own little groups that they go in, like they have their own, all their shirts together, which I think is different to outside of the UK. Because there was a lot of people, like, obviously, you know, Vanguard Tactics. I think it was Mind Goblins was another one. You know, everyone has their own little groups. People are taking like group pictures in front of the UKTC sign. You know, everyone had, you know, there's like those team dynamics, which I don't know if you get more outside of the UK. At least from what Scar's video said, maybe less so. And going in there is just kind of like and like people traveled down together, so people were sharing rooms. Like, you know, like I say, Ben Grudgehammer and Archie, and I think someone else they went with Fletch. They all came down together, so they got their own little group. You know, maybe I'll start like a little team, just like, you know, Centurion enjoys. To join, you have to have at least like 6 Centurions in your list. You have to have Centurions in your list. If you bring Centurions, you're allowed on the team, and then we have our own little like Centurion like fan club, team bad at stuff. You know, that might be quite fun. Mine, Goblin, these nuts. Damn, you got me. Damn, they actually might have got me. I didn't even think about that. Alright. Go have fun selling Necrons, Jay Pankser. Hey, Gricko, what's a Mind Goblin? Is that what... Oh, God, yeah, I remember that one. I remember that short. Very funny. So here's some friends built an orc list that runs into all the points so well, scores a bunch of points, then kills enough of an army to end the game. Yeah, I saw that. Some of them were like, yeah, if one team loses like half their stuff, it just ends. I'm like 6 minutes by streamer. Here is a store mention. What was your main? I played Artanis a lot. Artanis was my main. I loved Artanis. I loved the swap, and then just went with the full, like, basically you catch someone with the swap, and then you just do the triple slash, and then you put the beam on them. That was a lot of fun. I basically played a lot of the tanks. Like Artanis I played a lot. Actually, I played the Diablo crossbow lady. I can't remember her name. Played her quite a lot. I can't think of the others I would play. I played Lich King a fair bit. Played... I can't remember now. I'm going to have to look up Hero of the Storm's characters. Heroes of the Storm. Yeah, Heroes, let's have a look. Oh, no, what? Here's a Storm. Heroes. There we go, let's have a look. Got a few here I don't remember. I played Anubarak. Played Asmodan a fair amount. Arthas, Artanis was my main, I think. I played a lot of Artanis. I tried learning Chromie. I wasn't very good. I did a bit of Falstad. He was alright. Played a bit of Diablo. I played quite a lot of Dakka. Quite liked Dakka. Oh, Greymane. I played loads of Greymane. I really like Greymane. Johanna. I played a lot of her. I didn't really play Kael'thas. Leoric. Skeleton King. Hey. Played a lot there. Played a lot of Lunara. Anyone else? Muradin I played a bit of. As you can see, quite a lot of tanks, right? Played a bit of Rhaegar, like Rhaegar. I played a bit of the Butcher, actually. Butcher, Thrall as well. Played a bit of Thrall. I like Thrall. Varian. I didn't really play Varian. I didn't really like Varian. I tried playing Zarya, but I didn't do very well with Zarya. But I played Zarya a lot in Overwatch. I thought I would be better, but no. Zul'jin I played a bit of. Not much. I don't think I played Uriel. I think she told me after I stopped playing. Valor is the person with the pose. Anyway. JP Greer, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you very much. So I just started going off on a bloody Heroes of the Storm tangent. Minimum rosters for a siege list while listening to you and can well see a Centurion list having play. Very much going a 3-2 GT. I mean, that's the thing. I think my 2 losses on day 2 could have been wins very easily if I played. If we played them again, I'd have a better chance. And I definitely could have gone 2-3. I shouldn't have lost that last game. That was just me being bad. Yeah, Johanna was so tanky. When he swaps into the enemy towers, yeah, I played a lot of in League. I played original Urgot, which also had a swap. But I play a lot of like Thresh, stuff that could pull you into like Thresh. I played a lot of. My main in League is Poppy, and again it's just like tanky, smash you into a wall, do some damage. I love bruiser type characters, which is probably also why I like Centurions, right? Because I just love tanky damage dealers, slow tanky damage dealers that have something like some sort of like. I like playing tanks that do like disruption. That's like my thing. A bit of disruption, a bit of damage, like. Take a guy out, do some disruption, like help the team, but also dish a bit of damage. I've never tried Smite, no. I haven't watched for some time. Magnus finished. Still haven't done the base on Magnus. That is a good point. I should probably finish that at some point. That's about from the latest video. Sounds amazing. That still is my favorite game. Like it was such a classic. When you made this channel, do you think you'd ever get this far? And do you think you would ever become the Centurion guy? No. I mean. The thing is, does anyone like if you were to think about starting a YouTube channel, do you ever think like I'm going to be this? Maybe that's like the mindset I need to be like I'm going to be this big. Maybe that's the mindset of someone who succeeds. But no, I kind of did it on a whim. And the Centurion thing coming around is just kind of it's been part of the journey, right? I didn't start with the idea of going I'm going to be the Centurion guy. But it's evolved over time, right? Obviously, I got into the hobby and then bought Centurions because they were funny. And then, yeah. Urgot, Braum. I played both of them, actually. Urgot, I'm a big fan of. I think the main things I played, like, the main 4 characters are probably Poppy, Yorick, Urgot, and Wukong, probably. Those 4. But I like a lot of stuff like Illaoi. I like Draven. I don't know why I like Draven. I'm not very good with Draven. I like Aurelion Sol just because he's cool, but I'm terrible with him. I like Vex, although I haven't played it that much. I've played Vex a lot in Aram and done quite well with her. Hecarim I really like. Sejuani I really like. Again, you can kind of tell. Like actually no. In the top 4, Cho'Gath was a massive thing. It's actually probably Urgot, Poppy, Urgot, Cho'Gath, and Yorick, and then probably Wukong are my top 5 played. Oh no, Maokai's in there as well. No, actually no. I stopped playing Maokai when they changed his ult. His original ult was just so much better. I mean, his ult now is good, but it's just not as cool. I don't like him as much anymore. So probably Wukong. Are these even names at this point? I guess not. Hey, Poppy's a name. Poppy's a real name. Urgot, less so, I guess. Yorick's a real name. Wukong is a mythical Chinese thing. And what was the other name? I forgot already. Cho'Gath. Okay, that one's a bit weird. So I was talking about Cho'Gal, which is similar in Heroes of the Storm. I tried him once or twice, but it was a weird one, right? Because it's the 2. Poppy got in trouble spelling. She's a plant. Zach is a lot of fun. Yeah, I did enjoy Zach. Not so much as much as the others. I think Sejuani I really enjoy as well. But Zach is good. Braum, yeah, Braum. I play Braum in terms of like the supports I played. Thresh, Braum. Oh, Leona. I played a lot. Leona I think is my best support, just because it's go in and hit. I never tried Yorick. I haven't played League properly in like 3 years or something. I played a bit of Aram every so often, but I haven't played like on Summoner's Rift in years. I never tried Yorick jungle. Original Yorick was hilarious and no one knew what the fuck he did. And I loved it. Renekton I used to play a lot back in the day, but I don't play him as much anymore. Well, I guess. Stopped playing him towards the end. And when they changed Irelia, I had no idea what to do. Aatrox I like. I like Aatrox as well. Drathas, thank you for following me on Twitch. A Poppy and a Yorick enjoyer. I know, right? That's why I like Centurions so much. I'm a wild man. Just got my first 3-man squad of Centurions and they murdered Angron. Hell yeah. Yeah, actually, to be fair, Centurions killed Angron in my game too. Then he got back up, which was a problem. I play League with friends, cannot with randoms. Yeah, that's exactly the thing, right? That was exactly why I stopped. Like, playing League with randoms sucks. Playing with friends is fun. This is also why I was kind of really hesitant about going to tournaments. Because like, I like playing my games with friends. I don't want to play with strangers. They could be bad, but everyone I've played with has been great. So, more fool me. Again, it's very, very, very different because, you know, and Steve, obviously. Because, it's obviously very different because, you know, on a video game, there is the culture of it's anonymous. We're just gonna, you know, tell you to go just absolutely just be just horrible stuff, which you don't get in real life, less so, I suppose. And there's also like, because a lot of the games are team games, right? Where, you know, your results are affected by others in the team. That's also where a lot of the kind of the anger comes from. But you don't have that in Warhammer because you're on your own and it's you versus someone else and you're in real life and you're both trying to have fun because you spent a lot of money on this hobby and it's you know, you've been here for 7 hours, you just want to play a fucking game and roll some dice. So yeah, 3 times 5 Deathwing Knight or 2 times 5 plus the Lion. Take the Lion because the Lion is cool. If you have the Lion, you've painted the Lion, might as well use it. Currently running the Mini Crusader campaign? Hell yeah. I better try it. Biased LOL esports journal. This is the thing. I think League has got League has like loads of stuff I just don't get now. Like all of the dragons. I stopped kind of playing around the times that dragons started being elemental, so I don't really know what they do anymore. And then they affect the world now, and then there's like that other thing that appears. It's a young man's game, and I'm too old. I don't have time to play that kind of stuff. And the thing is, every so often I do go play a few Arams just because it's a fun game to play. And Aram is about where I want to be. Just kind of, you know, it's just throw yourself at someone and it's fun. I got into League because of Arcane, and with very few of my games, I've just been hard stuck to Vi. Yeah. This is the thing. Going, Arcane's based on a game, I'll go play it. I'm like, whoa, that's a fucking game to get into. But then I think like people get into Warhammer because of the lore, so it's like it's the same thing, right? Actually, to be fair, I really enjoyed Vi. I played Vi quite a bit. He's quite fun. Thoughts on the Doom games? I do like the Doom games. I need to play. I bought Doom Eternal like when it came out, and I still haven't played it. But then I did that with Doom with the new Doom when they rebooted it. I bought it and then it took me 3 years to play it, and then I bought Eternal, and I'm probably gonna play it when the next one comes out. I'm just that kind of person. I remember seeing someone say getting League because Arcane is like trying meth because you enjoy Breaking Bad. That's quite funny. Pretty much, I guess. Conquest Last Argument Kings is a fun game system. The dice are reversed. 1 is good, 6 is bad. That feels like a change for the sake of a change. You know what I mean? Like, most dice is the higher number is good. We're going to change it. That just feels like it's... I find this with... weird tangent. I'm not big into JRPGs. I find one of my problems with JRPGs is they have new names for everything. Like, it's not health, it's vitality. It's not mana, it's whimsy. It's like, we have words for this. You know, it's not strength, it's might. It's not charisma, it's being cool. It's not dexterity, it's like, we have words for this. We have health, we have HP, we have mana, we have stamina. We don't need new words for it. Like, there's some things you don't need to reinvent, right? Legendary Tenor is a game. I did enjoy Legendary Tenor, yeah. Legendary Tenor. I also play every so often, again. It's one of those hyper-focused ones where every so often I go, I'm going to play Teamfight Tactics and get into that for like a week and then stop playing. I've only got to play a bit of that fire guy, but I couldn't get behind the camera angle. My little monkey brain's too small to process a problem. Oh, Brand, I guess? Maybe there's a different fire guy now, I don't know, but Brand. I never played much Brand. I had a friend who was a Brand, not Brand main, but he played a lot of Brand. Have you seen Arcane? Yeah, Arcane's probably one of my favorite shows ever. Like, people had problems with season 2. It might have been a bit rushed towards the end, but I really liked it. To be fair, actually, Victor was one of the characters I played a lot. One of the mages I really enjoyed playing. I think, does that problem go from 40k to AOS? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they changed wounds to be health. Was it? They changed the name, which made sense, and then but you count up or down on both of them. And again, it's one of those ones that's like, we could standardize that a little bit, right? But then obviously the AOS players are like, no, this is the best way. The 40k players are like, no, this is the best way. So there's no way to standardize it. But yeah, sometimes, like, that's not too bad. Sometimes there are games which are just like, you know, just call it health, right? You don't have to go. You don't have to call money like bimblebops. You can just call them. You can just call it gold, right? It could just be gold. You're allowed to use that. No one's going to make fun of you for calling it gold and health. You come up with something creative elsewhere. Like, put your creativity into something else. James could be due to poor localization translation or trying to be close to the Japanese word for the English term. That is very true. You know what? That is fair. But also, I'm sure there's a Japanese word for HP and mana that they can keep using. But again, it's a very different thing. It's a very, like, it's a very small problem after RPGs. I'm not big to anime as well. The way that storytelling and kind of the translation from, like, the manga to anime in a lot of animes is weird to me. There's a great clip a friend of mine sent me that we send each other when this comes up. Like, from the classic, like, 50s, 60s, like, Western animation, it was, like, of Magneto. Like, I am Magneto. I am going to attempt to take the gun from your hand. No, the gun isn't working. Why not? Haha, Magneto. It's because the gun is not made of metal. It's made of plastic. Oh no, how could I possibly be defeated? Like, clearly a translation from the comic book to animation where in animation you could show, not tell. But they hadn't quite worked that out, so they're basically just, like, copying the comic word for word. And I find that a lot with anime, where it's very much like a character's going to go, like, sit there, like, stare at the screen and monologue about why this thing is happening, because that's what happens in the book, and it's a show not tell. But also animation is expensive, right? So, you know, if you're making a weekly show with lots of episodes, you can't exactly do really fancy animation for everything, so you do have to kind of, like, tell the audience. But again, I don't know enough about anime to really get into that point, and again, it's a weird tangent. I don't know why I've gone on that tangent again, but hey. I don't understand wounds as a new player. How? I don't like 40k's version. How many wounds does this unit have? 0, you haven't hit him yet. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's a wounds character, because I think, again, this is an archaic system, right? It should really be health. I agree that it should be called health. But then the problem with, they've changed it to health in Age of Sigmar, is you still count up. You still take damage dice. So you have 14 health, but you've taken 6 damage, so you have to work it out that way. When, if you've got a health system, I've got 14 health. When you take damage, you have less health now, which is how it works in 40k. But obviously, it's called wounds, and you think when you have, like, 5 wounds, that means you've taken 5 damage. But no, it's the other. The names and the way you count it are backwards in both games. Okay with the idea of health being renamed to something like morale, because the idea of something being damaged and growing and tiny. But yeah, that's another thing. This is something that comes up in D&D with hit points, right? you go up in levels, and then suddenly you go to sleep, you level up, next day you get hit by an arrow and suddenly it hurts a lot less. It's like, no, help. HP, you have to kind of like, in the story and in the descriptions, you have to kind of like, because when you get to like level like 10 and you're getting hit, like you're gonna be a pincushion of arrows and blade scratches if like every hit actually does damage. I know it says like slashing damage, bludgeoning damage, blah blah blah, but you kind of have to like extrapolate out in your mind that HP is kind of a term to encompass like you getting weaker throughout the fight. So you're not ending every fight with like just like you've been like slashed and stabbed like 100 times. It's that like every time you've been hit, quote unquote, it's put you off balance. You like, you know, you've had to like, you're losing the fight more and more. And then towards the end, when you're bloodied halfway, that's when you start actually taking like actual hits. But again, it's one of those abstraction wild things that doesn't really matter unless you're really thinking about it too deep, which unfortunately I do. What I have with anime is not aggressively horny. That's the one thing I love about anime. I love big anime titties. No, well, I mean, they're alright, but not saying big anime titties aren't good, but you know, sometimes I just want a silly show. The shows I like in anime are the comedy ones because they're funny. And anime comedy, you can do a lot with anime comedy. Like I like Nishijou. I like Bocce the Rock of what I saw. Spy Family, I really like. Like those are the kind of shows I really like because they're different. They're kind of the different comedy to what you get in other places. You see the cheese on the table, it feels with determination, exactly. Health doesn't make sense with vehicles, wounds feels like, yeah, I guess that's the thing, right? Like, how many wounds, it's one of the things that, like, how many wounds can this thing take is how it should be said. If you have 18 wounds, that means you can be wounded 18 times. But I can also see how saying I have 18 wounds means I've been hit 18 times. You know what I mean? We're gonna go. How many attacks time? All right. Thanks, Ivy. Thanks for hanging out. Hit points over health points. That's another thing. Yeah, hit points also works. Matt Colville did a good video about this. Yeah, I think a lot of these ideas that I've got are kind of like Matt Colville kind of inspired. Like a lot of those ideas come from him. I'm not smart enough to come up with that on my own. To be fair, I probably should have mentioned that those aren't my original thoughts. But yeah, Matt Colville. Again, anyone who does play D&D who hasn't heard of Matt Colville, I'd recommend watching his videos. It's really good stuff. And the thing is as well, obviously he's a writer. I've actually read his books. I've read 2 of them. They're really interesting actually. They're very like that. I really did enjoy them. They're very interesting in terms of like the way he writes. Like you can tell it's based off D&D without explicitly being based off D&D, and you could tell. Maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a book critic or anything, but you could kind of tell the kind of way he would write a campaign and how he would like reward player characters by the way he rewards his book characters. See what I mean? Like the way he structures everything and the way he describes stuff and the way kind of the world is built feels very much like a D&D campaign, which I think is it's meant to be, right? I think that's how he's described it anyway. But it's so D&D to the point where it feels like it doesn't feel off. It's just an odd read compared to like reading fantasy, which is clearly just like you explain the fantasy within the realm of that book's fantasy. When this is clearly you're explaining the fantasy within the realm of that book's fantasy, and also that book's fantasy is based on Dungeons and Dragons. That makes sense? I don't fucking know. I like if YouTube would remind us you are also on Twitch as much as Twitch says you're also on YouTube. That's a good point. I should probably add that. I should probably swap these around, shouldn't I? I probably shouldn't have Nightbot asking you to subscribe to my YouTube channel on YouTube. I should ask you to subscribe to Twitch on... Yeah, sort that out. That's a good point, Ruined. Thank you. Do you know if models like tanks or softblocks LOS? I've been a bit confused about this because I thought they did, but someone I played a while ago said they don't. I think they used to. I actually don't know. I don't think it came up. The Weller fella. Thank you for following me over on Twitch. Colville is to go. Yeah, he's awesome. Have you seen Chaos Rising on YouTube? I have not actually, no. W videos too, I'm new to 40k and they've been great to learn. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I noticed me. True. Is there anything I can do if the paint on my mini is too thick. I suddenly came out pretty much because of spray can. I don't know, actually. You might have to strip it down and try again. I don't think there's anything... I don't think you can really take away paint without taking away all the paint. I don't know, though, unfortunately. Someone else might be able to have advice. D&D is basically collaborative story writing advice with dice games. Exactly, right? Like, this is a problem that I think comes up. Like, it is collaborative storytelling, but I think a lot of people are putting their characters in, right? And then that can kind of cause things where, you know, you got to make sure that you're understanding what is character, what is player, and that kind of thing. What's your thoughts on new Emperor's Children models? I thought Emperor's Children models, yeah, I thought really cool. I love the new add-on models as well. The Lycus or Lycus, again, I don't remember how to pronounce it. That the aspect for the spiders, really cool. Definitely, like, you know, 10 out of 10, no notes. This is the thing with Games Workshop. They hit it out of the park so often, but when they miss, oh, they miss. But when they hit it out of the park, they absolutely smash it. And I think the thing with like stuff like Age of Sigmar, you can see like, you know, just every time, just like, you know, win after win, and then every so often you get like a you know, Inquisitor Courtiers, whatever his name is. You get one of those, you get but then you get like the Lycas, you go, okay, yeah, then you know what, fair. I read more than a dozen Horus Heresy books in the beginning. All of the Caradon books. Or the Nightlord books. Nightlord books are your favourite. Nice. Yeah, I need to probably read more Warhammer stuff. I might start reading Horus Heresy. Maybe, because it's like the first 5 books are like... It's like the first 5 books are in an order, and then it spreads from there. Is that right? There's a graph of this. So I might read the first 5 Horus Heresy books at some point. Have you considered playing Kill Team? I think at some point, yeah. I played Kill Team in when they kind of remade it the first time, and then obviously they've got a new edition now, but I haven't played it since the new edition. I wasn't very good at it, but I think it's a quite complex game. What's with your hate at Imperial Guard? Listen, that's the end. I don't know. There may be a stream coming up where we may or may not explore it. It may be next week. I don't know. I'm just saying. Could be a stream next week where we talk about Imperial Guard. For no reason whatsoever. Don't look at what other days are on next week. That would be silly. But also, if you do like Imperial Guard, maybe there's a stream for you next week where you can explain yourself. Maybe. That wasn't subtle. You look at Stazzy today? Thank you. You're interested in Necromunda? And if you are, what gang would you play? I mean, I'm interested in Necromunda. I have no idea what gang I would play, though, because I don't really know much about it. I have some Necromunda models that I used for... I used parts of it for a Drukhari proxy. I have a... homunculus guy. What's the homunculus coven guy called? Is it just called a homunculus? I might be being really stupid. The homunculus coven guy. I think they are called just homunculuses, aren't they? Am I being daft? Yeah, homunculus. Yeah, I used parts from one for a homunculus proxy. The first 4 are in order. Book 5 is when it splits. So does it split during book 5, or is book 5 the... Like, book 5 could be any book at the split, right? At first, you got into all of the other Primarch chapters, and that goes on for more than a dozen books. So I've got back to the main character. Main character, Mr. Heresy, as we know. If you think the HH rap is messy, you should see the Stephen King... Don't worry, Ruined. The woman has every single Stephen King book. She is the biggest Stephen King fan. I have read The Dark Tower. I enjoy The Dark Tower. I've read a couple of other Stephen King books. But the woman, she loves Stephen King. She's her favorite author. She reads The Dark Tower every year. Yeah. I know about Stephen King. Well, I don't know about Stephen King. She knows about Stephen King. She tells me about it. Why the fuck would anyone name a guy called Heresy? I know, exactly, right? What? The Emperor can't be that smart. There's a guy called Horus Heresy, and he trusted him. What an idiot! My God. Whenever you play a homebrew chapter, do you have a least favorite chapter? Also, least favorite faction overall. Well, least favorite faction overall, I think people are aware. My least favorite faction is Imperial Guard. We won't get into it right now. Least favorite chapter? I don't really have one. I don't think. I kind of like all the chapters. I think they're all kind of cool in their own way. Ultramarines because they're boring. No, I like having read Euro Adventurers books. I actually like Ultramarines more. I like what they do with Ultramarines. But again, obviously, the Euro Adventurers are quite old. Maybe they've changed a bunch of stuff. But maybe my least favorite chapter is Lamenters because that feels like a Lamenter thing to do, right? I feel like Lamenters losing feels right. So I feel like having the Lamenters your least favorite feels thematic. So let's say that. Just another common L for Lamenters, you know. I'm being nice. I cast Rogel Dawn. Ah! Hey, for what's worse, getting crushed by 4 Rogel Dawns or getting crushed by 4 Catan? Probably getting crushed by 4. I feel like getting crushed by 4 Catan, like lore-wise, probably getting crushed by 4 Catan is like mentally also horrific. Just getting run over by 4 like Dawns. Like after the first one's run you over, the other 3 are just like, you know, they're just putting the full stop at the end of the sentence, right? You're already dead. In terms of playing the game, Rogel Dawns are just annoying to play against. I actually beat the 4 Catan list, so you know. What do you think the best setting would be for the upcoming live action series? I absolutely no idea. The 40k universe. I kind of feel like just like I reckon it'll be like Space Marine based, right? Because like that's the marketable thing to people outside of 40k. Like if your very first like big live action Games Workshop 40k thing is like a weird but maybe very good like small story about a bunch of like guards in a hive city, it might be really good, but that's not what you want for like, your first bombastic thing. You want like just like, you know, it's Tyranids versus Space Marines. It's like, oh, it's chaos. It's Necron. Like a big bad versus a Space Marine, and maybe you have some like, you know, Inquisitors in there and some other stuff, and basically Space Marine 2. Make Space Marine 2 as a TV show as your first one, and then you can branch out from there. Did you try narrative games or do you always play normal games? I've done some Crusade. I really enjoy Crusade. There's some problems I have with Crusade, but most of the time Crusade is fun. And also kind of like when stuff happens in a normal game, it's always fun to be like that, you know, kind of have like a, you know, narrative in your head about what's going on. Like, oh, that, you know, that guy got absolutely deleted. That means, you know, he got shot so hard and you kind of go through a little scene. Not about Space Marine, I just want something that isn't Ultramarines one. So I mean, yeah, that's fair. Like, it could be a different, like, it could be any, you know, like, could be any chapter, but I feel like when with Ultramarines, it's kind of like it's the safe bet when there's a lot of Ultramarine lore already out there, and you kind of go, if we want to write something and get something that's kind of going to be just like a good starting off point for people who aren't familiar, we have a lot to fall back on with Ultramarines. It's very recognizable, and I don't blame them for going that way. Because obviously, for people inside the hobby, it's like, oh, it's Ultramarines again. People outside the hobby are going to go, ooh, these blue guys, I've seen them on pictures. I've seen them on the front cover of this magazine. I've seen them on the front cover of this game. Like, it's the Space Marine guy. Like, you can see why they do it, you know? Something like Arcane is very different. Like, Arcane was trying to take the characters from the game and kind of get them, like, way out of the way of the game stuff. And it made a very different show. But I feel like what the Warhammer stuff is going to be, like, because League of Legends is already making tons of money, they wanted to branch into a new thing. But not necessarily, they didn't necessarily need people back into their ecosystem, right? Like, it's kind of, they're trying to spin a narrative for, maybe they do want people back into it. I actually don't know. But I feel like with Warhammer, like, there's less individual characters that they need to kind of work through, because like League of Legends is obviously a game about many individual characters. With Warhammer, it's like these are the Ultramarines with a few different characters in it. So I feel like starting off on that point, people might be annoyed if it's another Ultramarines, but I feel like if they start off simple, they can branch from there, if you see what I mean. Salamence, because they have to show the compassionate side and the vicious side. I mean, yeah, that's a very good point. Like, Salamence is also very cool. Like, obviously, fire is cool. Imperial Fists as well, you know. It's just that I think when people outside of the hobby think of Space Marines, they probably think of the blue, right? It's kind of an unfortunate thing. What do you think? What better, Space Marines or Necron, Space Marines or Tyranids? I think they both work pretty well. I think in terms of a show, maybe you don't care about my thoughts on what would work as a show, but like, I think Tyrions works a lot better because people understand like monster, alien, brain, hive mind. People kind of understand that already. Necrons, I think, because they have like Necrons have like personality. I'd love to see a Necron. I'd love to see a Transin Necron show basically, but I feel like you can't use Necrons as your first because also it's very confusing. Like Joe very much started reading the Euro Adventures books and stopped because you kind of started reading it and went on to something else and hasn't gone back. But she was like, I was really confused because it went 60 million years ago. I was like, yeah, you might have to kind of get an understanding of that. And I think for an outside fan, the Necrons being 60 million years old is a bit much. The whole movie on Sergeant Nah, man. I don't know why I said that. Such a fan favourite has been neglected too much by GW. Board on to Door style show about the guard would be rad. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, again, Halo ODST was great. But imagine if Halo ODST was the first game. You know what I mean? Like, you needed Halo 1, 2, 3 and Reach? Or was they oh no, ODST was before Reach or after Reach? Either way. Oh no, was it before 3? I don't remember now. No, it was after 3. God, I don't know. Was Halo 2? No, ODST. Wherever Halo ODST was, it could only work if you had Halo 1, 2, and however many there were. I don't remember. Garmold. ODST was after, yes, that's right, yeah. So Halo, what you needed Halo 1, 2, and 3 to have ODST. If ODST was your first Halo game, you're probably not going to have a good series. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you've Space Marine 1 and 2, the games, for example, are like Ultramarine heavy. It was against Orcs and Chaos, and then Tyrannids and Chaos. And the third one might be a bit different because they've got that build up now. And with a show, it's probably going to be like Ultramarines versus something, and then they can kind of branch out, right? Well, how's it being a realistic figure? It's interesting. Don't have to eat as much. Yeah, vanilla rice. That's the thing. Like vanilla, people like vanilla. Like vanilla is a fairly good flavor that people like. So you get them in with vanilla, and then you give them the rum and raisin. Like that's kind of I don't know. Which Green Raven model was the worst to paint? Which one was the best to paint? Worst to paint. No, I'll need to think about that. I'll get back to you on that one. Best, I really enjoyed painting. I actually really enjoyed painting my Shrike model. That was really fun. Actually, the best one for me to paint was the Tech Marine because I didn't have to do anything. I don't actually expect your hate for Imperial Guard TV show for perspective would work well because it's from the perspective of humans basically banned. That I agree. Like you look at Dark Tide, right? It's very much kind of obviously kind of very similar thing where it's like it's the Guard perspective. This is probably what we're discussing. Like the Guard thing is like like I don't like Guard. But I understand why people do, and it is kind of cool. But it's just not the way it's not the things I like. I feel like, a Guard perspective would be really good to actually, like, you get to know these Guard characters, and then you can kind of see the, their reaction to seeing a Space Marine, the kind of the aura that the Space Marine gives. But also, if you're making a show about Warhammer, and an outside person's like, this is just like a war show, but like a sci-fi war show, where's the big Space Marine dude? And you don't get into it for a few episodes, then that might turn people off, I've no hope Space Marine 3. They said they were only getting started up Space Marine 2, and they've done barely anything since it's released. Interest coming that doesn't keep its promise. I mean, we'll see, right? They've announced it, right? But they haven't. We don't know how long it's going to be away. But then it could also be like an Overwatch 2 thing, right? Someone was playing 40k more flavor. What would you say is the most important lesson you learned from your first tournament? Sit down. God, sit down. Sit the fuck down. Hydration important? Sitting. Sit down. In terms of like actual like rule stuff, I think that's gonna entirely depend on your army. You are gonna learn like whatever your like army is that you want to try. You're probably gonna learn a lot about it by the time you get to your 5th game. I've learned a lot about how my 18 Centurion list works, so I can move forward. I think I learned I learned a lot. There's not really anything I could pinpoint to be like, this is the thing that I learned like game wise. What I learned tournament wise is sit the fuck down. Yeah, don't stress yourself too much. You play your game and you will learn. Like, don't if you try and absorb too much, or try and like go in there with too much like in your brain, or try and go in there with like, you know, trying to think of every possibility, you're gonna have a bad time. You just got to go in there, make the mistakes, learn, and then you'll learn pretty quickly. So yesterday I just finished my first ever model. It was a 5-parent Necron monster. Hell yeah! What should I get next? What do you want? Are you collecting Necrons? Then I don't know, something else. I don't know. World is your oyster. You have whatever your favorite model is. Like, if you're working towards an army list, then with Necrons you can kind of get anything. Yeah, like the thing is, just like the reason I say sit down is because I think people do mention like sitting down is important, but the one thing people really want to get through is like hydration and like food and like energy and like keeping that stuff up, which is all very true. But then everyone at the end of game 3, and especially at the end of day 2, like end of game 3 to day 1, end of day 2, everyone will say the same thing. God, my back hurts. God, my legs hurt. My knees don't work very well. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Obviously, the older you are, the worse it is. But the reason is because you didn't fucking sit down. And it's like, if I'm, you know, just over 6 foot, 6'1"-ish. 184, 185 centimeters. I can't remember how much tall I am. I think I've actually shrunk. I used to be 186, but last time I measured I was like 184, so who knows. But this time next year I might be under 6 foot, but either way, I'm quite tall. So leaning over a table is worse. Ben Grudgehammer's taller than me. He's a big lad. You know, height-wise, you know, he's got a bad back. Yeah. Sit down. A chair was provided at every table for every player, and I just didn't do it. I put stuff on the chair like it was a fucking table. Like, oh, I haven't got room on the actual table. I'll put my bag on the chair. I'll put my dice on the chair. It's like, no, that's for my ass. My ass is meant to go there. That's where I sit. And I pay for that. Like literally, the first day, got there, and I was stood up from got there 8:30 till I left at about 7:30. So what's that? 11 hours. I did not sit down once. Apart from and then I got into my car and sat down there. So I had to drive. Yeah, you need food and water to live, yes. So I think that's why people are so like, and hydration is important, because if you don't hydrate enough, you're going to get to the end of the day, you're going to have a massive headache because it's loud in there. So hydrate, but then sit down. Obviously starting with the guard is at least people said no glimpses of scenes. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. Ended up saying at the local RTT 9 to 7. My legs were agony. Yeah, my knees were bad. I tried to stretch them out, and I had a massive, like, those clicks in your knee that you just go, oh, that was a bad click, wasn't it? We need damn Wardy chairs, exactly. I really like the Void Dragon, but I think that's too much for me as a beginner. Maybe I should go with a couple Warrior. Yeah, I work up, like, if your Void Dragon, I think, is like that's like your goal, right? Go for a couple of other things that are probably going to be in every list. If you want to, again, this is if you want to play, right? If you're just there to kind of hobby, then you can go anywhere. But if you're looking to play, then Warriors are always going to do well. A couple of characters. What do you think of the more Dakka detachment? Horrifying. It was very, very scary. Living else sounds like school. What school did you go to? We had chairs at school. I'm sorry if you had no chairs at your school. That sounds awful. Needlessly chair less than real. This is an American thing, I think. In the UK, we have chairs for our. I think isn't it a thing in the US? It's like people at people on checkouts and stuff. They aren't allowed to sit down. It's like, what the fuck is that about? But that's the whole thing. 1 PM I haven't any today. I should go get. Yeah, let's be fair. I'm at school assembly. You had to stand up at school assembly. We got to sit down. Well, maybe I just Damn. Well, that sucks. Boss said the old people think we were lazy. Well, fuck them. Not literally, obviously, but I found the best thing when starting painting is practice on models you don't care about. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. Like, you will get better as you go on. So for first tournament, whenever that happens, I have my turn ready to hopefully night. Hell yeah. Right. Speaking of chairs, it's actually coming up to 5 p.m. I was not actually expecting to stream this long. I've been streaming for 3.5 hours. I've had a really, really good time. So thanks everyone for hanging out. But yeah, I was gonna be like, I'll come in, I'll talk about the thing. I'll probably be tired and I won't talk much, but I've actually been talking way too much. But thank you very much for joining in, all the support, and all the super chats and the members and the Twitch subs, and the view count has been massive. So thank you very much. I think it's probably my most successful stream ever. So thank you again. When if City of Shitpost Army list have a place in tournament, I took an 18 Centurion list to the tournament and I did pretty well. Or I had a lot of fun. And that's pretty much, that's kind of a shitpost. Anyway, thank you very much. I will be back Wednesday around the same time streaming. And then Thursday at the normal evening time where we'll review some of your piles of shame and your hobby spaces to get those in on Discord. Friday, we'll have a video about Dakka. I don't know why I'm doing hand gestures. You can't see them. I'm just kind of doing hand gestures. But again, thank you very, very much for watching. If you enjoy this, go to like, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. Go follow me on Twitch as well. We're actually only 120 away from 1,000 followers on Twitch, which is awesome. And that's it. Go have a good day. And be yourselves. I don't fucking know. All right. Take care.